Mickety Mike, mic check, mic check, mic check. Friendly Friday is here. Welcome, everybody. Congratulations to all who chose the jacuzzi hat. I saw a couple of you in there. I promise on my life I will never change hats while you're guessing. That is my promise to you on this wonderful happy Friday, Easter weekend. For all of you who celebrate the rising of the Lord, happy Easter weekend. For everybody else who just celebrates the Easter Bunny, happy Easter weekend to you. And if you don't celebrate, I hope you just have a great weekend. I'm ready for a weekend. Did I not cover that yesterday, Jen? I think I did. I'm pretty sure I said that yesterday, Jen. Let me hop into the VC here with Jen. As a reminder, today is Friendly Friday. So for the last hour of the show, we take friendly calls. I hope I have enough stuff here for the show today on the outline. Not sure. It was a late start. It was a late night. And I was going to bed, and I just hopped on TikTok, and I saw Jen on a live with Admir. Best friends, Jen and Admir. It was amazing to see. I was happy to see it. Something was going on, though. I think the connection was bad. Jen kept dropping, and I guess her mute button was stuck or something. I don't know what happened, but it was good to see Jen in the wild last night. Someone go be unhinged for me, please. Hate to see it, Bree. You hate to see it. This is my favorite headline of the day yesterday. Tennessee has put through an anti-DEI bill yesterday. They put it through because, like all things Republicans are doing now, it's just like sheer cowardice. So they throw a bill through with no vote or no debate. They just said, we're not going to debate this. We're just going to have a straight vote. And I think that's just because Republicans don't want to be on record defending their positions, especially on anti-DEI. Ironically, the guy who pushed it through is Aaron Mayberry, which, come on. So that's why the title of today's show is like, the GOP can't be real. Like, this has to be a psyop. How the fuck is the anti-DEI guy he just happens to be Mayberry? I was just singing a Rascal Flatts song about this guy. Sitting on the porch drinking ice cold cherry Coke, where everything's black and white. Da-da, da-da, da-da-da-da. But speaking of everything being black and white, Gloria Johnson has decided she would like to rename the anti-DEI bill, and here you go.
Is rename this bill the White Fragility Act. I do not understand why three words that have been positive words, positive concepts for 60 of my 62 years, everyone on this floor would have thought diversity, equity, and inclusion were positive words and positive concepts. Why are you all so afraid of making sure that every person of every race, of every religion, the disabled, women, veterans, why are you doing everything you can to complicate the relationships in the workplace? Every company in this country that has strong DEI policies, they are thriving. They have a healthy workplace. They have happy employees. They spend less time training employees because everyone feels respected. They actually take time to make sure that everyone feels respected. I don't know what your problem is with people being treated like actual human beings on the job. I think you should do some introspection and find out why it is you want to make sure some people don't feel comfortable on the job. It's hurting black and brown folks and other races for sure, but it's also hurting women and the disabled and veterans. Are you all so terrified of people that don't look like you and believe like you?
There is just something soothing and wonderful, and it makes me happy when you hear somebody with that accent promote that type of ideology. I love that. I also want to say this. I'm going to stop it here. Where it's a little brighter. I don't know how to explain this about Mayberry. None of his features are the correct size for his face. Let's see if we can find a picture of him. I don't know how that happened. What's his name? Aaron Mayberry. I don't know how to explain this, but they're all wrong. Like, it's like somebody put a Mr. Potato Head together with like different sizes of, where'd that picture go? With different sizes of Mr. Potato Heads. I don't know how to explain. Do you guys see what I'm saying here? It's like he was made from leftover parts. None of his features make sense for his head. Do you see what I see? Do you guys see that? I don't know. I don't know. What is this? That looks like a Mormon temple. Tell me this guy's not Mormon. In 2016, how old is this guy? That better not be a Mormon temple. No. He's just he's a pastor at a church. Shout out Christians for being upset about DEI. Shout out to the Christians. Such loving people. All right, sorry, I got distracted there. As a reminder, we are crowdfunded here. So below me or above me, depending on how you're watching, we have Venmo, PayPal, and Cash App. I'll read anything that you write. We do need to knock out that goal as much as we can before we start Friendly Friday, because we all get distracted during Friendly Friday. And just a reminder also, we do have paid subscriptions. We have merchandise. And if you can't or don't want to do any of those things, watching is free. And we welcome you all to another day of RTP Talks. Hopefully, we got rid of the racist yesterday. I'm looking at the viewer count. It is lower. Usually, the lower the viewer count, the less Nazis we have. We might have ran the Nazis off yesterday. Sorry, Nazis. Sorry. We're going to have a lot of ADHD moments today, just so we know. I take ADHD medication breaks. I'm currently on one of those breaks, and I took some other medication right before the live. So listen, I'm just gonna be honest. This is gonna be an adventure today. It could get off the, and I've got some serious stuff to cover, and we'll see how I do. I do want to show this though. I don't think Trump knows anything about Africa. I don't think he knows what the Congo is. I don't know if he thinks it's like a lake or a village or like an apartment complex, but clearly, I don't know. Why would you say this as the leader of the free world, the leader of the United States? Why would you say this?
People that were in jail for horrible, they released jails, Georgia, from all over the world.
First of all, why can't we make fun of the fact that this guy never makes any sense? Like, if Biden blundered half as much as he does, he just says it with so much confidence. He said they released jails. That you can't release a jail. Jails have foundations. They don't move.
And release them, not just South America, all over the world, the Congo and Africa. Many, many people come from the Congo. I don't know what that is, but they came from the Congo. And all over the world they came in, opened their jails. Venezuela, practically all of their prisoners released into our country. And we took them because we had an incompetent administration called the Biden administration.
That's what I called it, at least. That's my nickname for it. The Biden administration. Shut up, Brian. How about that? How about you shut up, Brian? That's exactly what I was thinking. and then I took them off, and then I got yelled at for taking them off. So shut up.
And to think what they've done to our country. And I was elected to straighten that out, and I'm doing that. But we have activist judges that don't want murderers to be sent out of our country. They don't want killers and drug dealers and drug lords and people from mental institutions. They want them to stay in our country, I guess. I don't know. Maybe
Yeah, I guess.
that's the people
that's
that
what we want. So he doesn't know where the Congo is. Then he just rattles off a bunch of nonsense. I think I untagged this, but that video reminded me. I'm scrolling through the videos I had for the show. All right, yeah, I didn't untag it. All right. You see these things right here? You guys see these back here? This little gold, I don't know if there's a better view here where we can see all of them. Yeah, that thing. You see how that's too bright to be gold? Like, and did you know those weren't there before? This administration has put so much gold in the Oval, but I don't know. I can't verify this. But I'm going to show you because this was hilarious. This is from Sand Stars on TikTok, or maybe they just sand_stars.
What the fuck is this gold shit up here?
I found the shit. It's this polyurethane thing. You can buy it from Home Depot for $58. And then you go to the other aisle and get the gold spray paint.
Yeah.
And then you put them all over the Oval Office. I'm going to guess one of these little fatties is over the pediment in the doorway.
First of all, calling him a fatty, but that was mean. That was mean-spirited. Trump is well known in the real estate space for using fake or 24 karat gold spray paint. Like he's known for that. This is too bright. And I don't think he's forking out the bill to put a gold, I mean, whatever that is. I don't even know. What do you even call that? What is that? What is that thing? Tacky? Besides tacky, what is that? What do we even call that type of decoration? Dumb, that works. Sheriffs, that's what I was looking for, little fatties. Shit, Gotti. What is this called? The shit. She called it the shit. If I wanted to tell somebody I wanted to buy this, finials, is that right? Invisible Committee says finials. Oh, I'm not seeing the YouTube chat. Ah, great. No wonder it was so nice. There it is. Finials? I don't know if that's right or not. It's so tacky. There was all right, this is how the day is going to be, because I have an outline and then I'm just going to remember shit that I saw. What was that guy? Steve Wickoff. He was over in Paris, maybe? I don't know. Listen, I'm going to show you this video, but I don't know what any of this stuff is either. So the person who put up this video obviously knows about places in Europe, and I don't. I just honestly don't. But this was Steve Wickoff yesterday in the Élysée Palace in Paris. Did I say that right? Élysée? Sorry about that if we have any French folks here. But his word association here is a little embarrassing. This guy, right? I don't know who this guy is either. Watch the guy left of Wickoff. I don't know who that is. This is Wickoff. Watch his face. Like, he can't even hold it together when Wickoff says this.
You know what this looks like? This actually looks like President Trump's club at Mar-a-Lago.
Really?
What you have this gold. Yeah, no, the gold. That Jonathan. Yeah, no. What you have this gold. Yeah, no, the gold. That Jonathan. This is really it's fabulous.
Hey, literally, the whole room laughed at him. The whole place. There's like, dude, what are you talking about? This is probably real. Anyways. I don't even know what he was there to talk about. I don't even know why he's in France, but he was. Here's a Christian nationalist pastor. His name's Andrew Eisker. You know how for the last couple days I've been trying to get Republicans to answer why they lied? Like, if they're saying that they voted for all this stuff Trump's doing now, why did they lie about it? And they won't answer, or they say they didn't lie. Well, here's a Christian pastor just saying the loud or the quiet part out loud, in that, like, we really aren't Christians. We just love Trump. You'll notice that as a Christian pastor on a Christian podcast, not a lot of Jesus. What's this? Anybody know what this building is in the middle? Looks like some sort of church university. I don't know what it is. Is that Stanford? There's a Stanford tree there. Anyway, yeah, they got wood on wood on wood. Anyways, listen to what he says here.
Trump and Vance,
Thanks, dirty dude.
like, so obviously just lied through their teeth about their actual position on abortion. Right? Like, they just flat out lied because it's like, and I'm like, yeah, they should. Right? They should. Like, that is very much a Hebrew midwives or
I get a lot of criticism for being an atheist now and people being like, don't talk to Christians. You don't know. Even though I do. Even if you didn't know a lot about Christianity, there are 10 specific rules that most people know. And I know for sure that when Moses hiked up that hill and talked to a bush that was on fire, because that's a real thing, that bush said, hey, bro, no lying. And these guys are like, we love lying so much. Like, this is when you know it's long past Christianity, and now it's just a cult. My cult did this a lot. We would lie about things, and we didn't come out and say this like, I'm glad they're lying, but we just pretended that we weren't lying. They're not even doing that anymore. They're like, lying is okay. Lying is okay as long as we can force our way into the law.
right. They should. Like, that is very much a Hebrew midwives or Rahab type of situation where you have an electorate that wants to murder babies. Right. They do not deserve the truth.
It is so frustrating when we nominate somebody like Kamala just because that's all we want to do. That's our whole agenda. And they caught us. They caught us red-handed. That's all we wanted to do. And so it was fine. It's always like this with Republicans. In order to make your position not sound insane, you have to make up an insane position that somebody else has. And if you have to do that every single time to make your position not seem insane, your position might not be that good.
From you, right? You, like, no one thinks twice about Barack Obama saying, "Oh, marriage is between a man and a woman," when he's running for president, and then he appoints, like, with the express purpose of this, a Supreme Court that
his mustache is lopsided, and it bothers me. See, the right side grows in a lot thicker than the left side.
Immediately somehow finds in the Constitution a right for two anal sex enjoyers to be wed.
So stupid. I don't know who's gonna tell him. Who's gonna tell him that, like, it's not just gay people who do anal. It's not. Yeah, out of nowhere. It's just from the top ropes. First of all, Obama said marriage is between a man and a woman. Then he changed his mind. He openly has apologized. But his revisionist history of this, and this is all conservatives. This is like the reason I don't like white privilege is because it lets, like, the dumbest among us have a podcast. And then they talk, and then they say things confidently. And then other dumb people hear the confidence in which they say these things, and they repeat those same dumb things with the same level of confidence. But in case you missed it the first time, here it is again. Fox is reporting Garcia's part of a trafficking bust. Jesus Christ.
A man and a woman. When he's running for president, and then he appoints, like, with the express purpose of this, a Supreme Court that immediately somehow finds in the Constitution a right for two anal sex enjoyers to be wed.
Weirdest way to say it too. Weirdest way to say it. Even if you're gonna make like a gay sex joke. Weirdest way to say it. Christians always have this way. Mormons do too. Of, like, you don't want to. You're so uncomfortable with sex and like curse words that the workarounds for those curse words are way worse. Like, if you just said butt sex there, but anal sex enjoyers, that's worse. That's so much more uncomfortable and more descriptive, because now we're talking about, like, not only the act, but also the level of enjoyment, right? When they try and not be crass, everything they say is so much worse. And this dude just had to shift his legs a little bit. Watch him shift his legs just a little bit here when he thinks about it.
How finds in the Constitution a right for two anal sex enjoyers to be wed. Like, where did that come? Oh, well, he lied through his teeth all about it to get elected president and then pursue his political agenda.
I think I don't know if I've told you guys this story, but a news alert. I worked for Mitt Romney. I was in Iowa on election day. We flew from, I want to say Sioux City. I don't remember, but we had to connect in Chicago, flying back to Utah. And so we thought Romney was going to win. So we hop on this plane. We land in Chicago. Obama is in Chicago. The plane is there because that's where he's going to give his acceptance speech. And we get off the plane. We're standing there, and they called the election for Obama. And this lady, out of nowhere, we all had our Romney stuff on too, which was in hindsight a really bad decision, knowing we were going to Chicago. But this lady came to me, and she goes, "Gay people are going to get married now. Fuck you!" And then she just left. And at the time, I was like, "Oh, now I think it's hilarious." At the time, I was really upset about it. But like that, I remember that. I remember that that's what people thought. People were excited about that. It's one of my favorite memories now.
And it's like, you know what? I'm so glad that we had a president who did not tell the truth on that issue, right? Like that's the kind of Machiavellianism, right, you're describing that I think, I mean, people maybe you'll be mad at me for saying this, but I think like we should support that.
Yeah, thou shalt not lie, you dumb bitch. Thou shalt not bear false witness, you dumb bitch. This is why nobody takes your goddamn religion serious anymore. That's why we have to do fascism right now, by the way, is because nobody likes this guy. Like even the Nazis that are here today, they don't like this guy. Nobody likes this guy. But this is kind of who's running the show for the GOP. That's why you have to do fascism, because everything you say isn't popular enough to pass a vote. Why do you think Trump has to rule by executive order? Why do you think none of what Trump is doing is being pushed through Congress? Nobody wants their name on it. Most of the shit Trump is doing, he couldn't get pushed through Congress. And remember, the Republicans control it. He couldn't get it through the House. That's why he has to do everything via executive order. You dumb bitch. I just want to keep saying that. Check messages real quick.
Thanks for the sub.
Thanks for the sub. Who is that? Porch Face Killer? What a name. What a name. Look, I'm not saying that dude ever sucked a dick, but I bet he held it in his mouth until the swelling went down. Yeah, Sonia, come talk to me. Sonia, welcome. It's good to have you here. I'm sorry that you feel I know nothing. If you do want to talk to me, you can message Jen on Discord. It's JENNDUBB1, the same as the Venmo name. And we can actually bring you up. You can talk to me live on air. It's a really enjoyable time for you. All right. Here's Trump now. I don't know. I guess we're still pretending he's not a crazy person. I guess we're still pretending that Donald Trump is living in reality. This was the Italian, prime minister he had yesterday. He's doing it's like Trump has a podcast at this point, isn't it? He stages these meetings and then he just talks about himself, and he just makes world leaders sit by him while he lies to people. And that's what he did again yesterday. I know that's quiet. So she just said Americans are seeing their prices rise. They're seeing it on their bills. How long can they expect that pain to last?
So they've already seen it get much better, because if you were truthful, which you're not, I know you very well, you have gasoline that hit $1.98 yesterday in a couple of states.
I can't find this. I can't find it. I don't know what he's talking about. $1.98 gas? Hopefully it's updated now. Yeah. I mean, we have to do this every day. This is what covering this president's like. I had a friend, one of my best friends was like, "Dude, you've been MIA this week after I got back from my vacation." I was like, it's impossible. It is impossible to keep up with this guy's lies. It's crazy. Like, it wears you down. Nowhere. Nobody can find anywhere in the country here gas at 198. The national average was 317. Wednesday drivers were unlikely. Like nobody's had this. The lowest price gas buddy found was 219 at a station in Texas. Then the next one, the lowest average was 257. I don't know why he just lies all the time. Why does he do that every day? He also talked about eggs again and how he saved them. Yeah, he's getting there. He said like God was listening.
You have gasoline's way down. The price of oil has dropped substantially. The price of groceries are substantially down. The price of eggs. You know, when I came in, they hit me with eggs. I just got them.
I wish. That would have been way cooler. That would have been a cooler inauguration. Remember when he did like that parade where everybody walked in front of him? That would have been cooler if they stopped and threw eggs at him. By the way, let me just say this. For my Trump folks in the chat, and by the way, to the Trump people that are here, when we talk about the Nazis that were here yesterday, we're not saying that you're all Nazis. Some people are probably saying that. I'm not. I'm saying that we had Nazis here yesterday. But to our Trump friends, I want to olive branch here. It was stupid. It was absolutely moronic to that first week to be like, oh, Trump, what happened to eggs? Like he had been there a week. It was dumb. He's right about this. This was dumb.
I was here for 1 week and they started screaming at me, eggs have gone through the roof. I said, I just got here. I was there for 7 days and I hear that eggs have gone through the roof before I got there. And they were screaming at me, the press, the fake news like you're fake. And the fake news is screaming at me like about eggs. I said, I've only been here. This is my 7th day. And they were right. They went up 87% and you couldn't get them. They said, you won't have eggs for Easter, which is coming up. Happy Easter, everybody. You won't have eggs for Easter. And we did an unbelievable job. And now
this is a real thing. It's a real thing we're talking about. They just asked about eggs. It took this guy a minute and a half. He didn't say anything there. Like, when you go back, all he had to say was egg prices were higher. It took a minute and a half to say eggs. This is not an intelligent human being. This is rambling incoherently. Let's see how many points he makes here about eggs.
$1.98 yesterday.
All right, we're on gas there.
Way down. The price of oil has dropped substantially. The price of groceries are substantially down. The price.
Find it. He's trying to just like, what are the things that are down? Gas is way down. No. Groceries are way down. No, groceries also aren't down. What else? Eggs.
Eggs. You know, when I came in, they hit me with eggs. I just got there. I was here for 1 week and they started screaming at me, eggs have gone through the roof. I said,
do you remember all the people screaming, eggs have gone through the roof? Sir, eggs have gone through the roof.
I just got here. I was there for 7 days and I hear that eggs have gone through the roof before I...
Okay. They told me eggs have gone through the roof. They said eggs have gone through the roof. They hit me with eggs have gone through the roof. We get it, dude. People said egg prices went up. That's 3 times now saying the same thing.
Got there. And they were screaming at me, the press, the fake news like you're fake. And the fake news
it says three times. Also, you suck.
News is screaming at me like about eggs. I said, I've only been here. This is my 7th day. And they were right. They went up 87% and you couldn't get them. They said, you won't have eggs for Easter, which is coming up. Happy Easter, everybody. You won't have...
Can you believe that this is like a really our president? Can we believe that? This guy talks like my toddler.
Eggs for Easter. And we did an unbelievable job. And now eggs are all over the place and the price went down 92%. And our Commissioner of Agriculture, Brooke, has done a fantastic job. They really have done a fantastic job. So prices haven't gone up. The only thing that's gone up actually is interest rates, because we have a Federal Reserve Chairman.
You see that? The only thing that's gone up is interest rate. Now he's like, oh yeah, I forgot. I hate Jerome Powell today. Every Republican. By the way, one fun thing about watching this and one fun thing about having this show in the morning, probably my favorite thing about having this show in the morning, is playing all the headlines and playing all of the Republican arguments that we hear the rest of the day. Like they just show up, baby bird, mouth open. Give me the arguments, please. they're going to be talking about Jerome Powell all day, like they have any fucking clue who Jerome Powell is.
Is playing politics.
Politics.
Somebody that I've never been very fond of, actually. But he's playing politics.
He has been on the record saying how great Jerome Powell is like a million times. Everything he said, it's crazy. If you watch Trump and you stop on every lie, this is how often we have to stop. We're 2 minutes and 14 seconds in. No, a minute 47, excuse me. He is on the record multiple times saying how great Jerome Powell is. Thanks, MS Megan.
Politics. Interest rates should be down now. They should be coming down. In Europe, as you know, they reduced them, I guess 7 times. It looks like they're going to reduce them again and again and again. But our guy wants to play cute. But
what does that even mean? What's he even accusing Jerome Powell of? I don't even know what he's accusing him of. He's playing politics. How? Like, the frustrating part about Donald Trump and the reason that we are where we are and why this is going to take so long to recover, like we're fucked for a while, is because everything that happens, he turns political. He has ruined everything in America. Fucking everything. Nothing is outside of politics now. He came in and the big movement when he came in was like, oh, the Dems are making football political because Colin Kaepernick, known, I'm pretty sure, like not Democrat, just a quarterback, because he knelt for social justice. And then all the Republicans are like, keep your politics out of sports. And it has been nothing but injecting politics into literally everything. Think of what's one thing that isn't political. Let's see if we can come up with some things that are happening in society that aren't political. What's not political? We can't even accuse somebody of sexual assault anymore. Can't even do it. I was on Twitter this morning. I put out a tweet. I'll cover the story in a minute. But like, just how Conor McGregor all of a sudden became political after he got found liable for sexual assault, and how all these people who commit sexual assault, then they just make a hard shift to the right. And they pretend they're political, and then they say, oh, they're just coming after me because I side with you. And that's enough for these Republicans. Literally everything we do now is political. They have ruined everything. Porn isn't political. I bet it is. I bet it is. I bet if you went on an adult website and you read through the comments, you're going to see some political speak. I'm sure. There's not a comment section in the world that is free of political speech. Yeah, religious scum. Like, yeah, Russell Brand. The impending Buffalo Bills Super Bowl win is not political. Yeah, it is. It absolutely is. They'll be like, Josh Allen, we know he's MAGA. That's a MAGA Super Bowl. Nebraska? Wow. Grass mowing? I don't know. Biden divided this country. Bro, make up your mind, Sonia. Was he asleep or was he like this great figure that was capable of dividing? You guys, Biden doesn't do anything. He didn't even know where he was. He wasn't running this country. He was so divisive and so manipulative. Like, make up your mind on Joe Biden. Either he's a genius and fucked everything up, or he was a moron asleep at the wheel. You can't have it just like both ways every time you want to. Joe Biden didn't divide. This guy divided the country, by the way. This guy started the Obama birtherism. This guy started that divide. Then he got ran off the Romney campaign because he was too divisive. Then he ran the most divisive Republican primary in the history of Republican primaries. Then he ran the most divisive political campaign in 2016 in the history of political campaigns. And then he did it again in 2020. And then he did it again in 2024. And even though he can't run now, every single time he sits down and has a discussion, he talks about how bad Joe Biden is and how evil the Democrats are. Shut the fuck up. I don't understand how you guys are still watching this shit. If go find me every time Joe Biden spoke, 98% of the time, he didn't mention Republicans. Unless it was a political speech while he was campaigning. This guy brings up Joe Biden or Democrats, or in this one, somebody just asked him, hey, when do you think prices will come down? Oh, you guys are the fake news media. Oh, Joe Biden was such a bad president. I don't get it. I mean, this is the guy that shows up and makes every room chaotic. And then you're like, man, these people are crazy in here. It's him. There's never been a situation that Donald Trump entered that didn't become chaos. It's what he does. It's all he knows. Stop saying that anybody else is dividing. It's him. It's him. That's all he wants to do. It's all he knows how to do. That's why you guys are all divided. You guys can't even figure out your arguments. Your argument a week ago is different than your argument today. You're divided against yourselves.
Interest rates are pretty much even. Maybe they went up just a slight bit, but that's the only thing. But that's because of the Federal Reserve, because they're not very smart people.
Thank you, dirty dude. Thurman King said, I never knew how much I needed you until you took Friday and Monday off. Keep fighting the fight, bro. Thank you. Appreciate that. That actually means a lot. Some days are not as easy as others to like just get on a camera, but I appreciate that. That makes me feel a lot better. God damn it. I just closed out my outline. There we go. What time is it? 10? All right. Here's the fact check from Trump's video. Sorry, I took so long on that. You might be surprised to know that everything he said there was a lie. Grocery prices. The average grocery price was about 2.4% higher in March than they were in March of 2024. They're up 0.5% from February, which was the highest month-to-month grocery inflation rate since October 2022. Month-to-month grocery inflation was low in February 2025, with average prices essentially the same as they were in January 2025, and then in March, they jumped. So, he's just lying. The average increase in grocery prices happened before Trump imposed the 10% tariffs, and then we're seeing now that the tariffs bumped those up a little bit more. Remember that a lot of people, a lot of these grocery stores, they increase their prices in anticipation of tariffs, and then they don't really bring them down, or they don't bring them back down all the way. Why would they, right? They saw that people were willing to pay it. Retail prices, it looks like, have fallen slightly. Oil prices have gone down since Trump returned to office. But the decline is mostly, and if you watch Mr. Global, concerns that tariff wars are going to slow the global economy and reduce the demand for oil. So you see, I think the price per barrel is like $20. I want to say it was $20, which would mean that gas prices would be around like $2.30, which is great. Like if you're a commuter, if you're a consumer, if you're a family that wants lower gas prices, that's great for you. That's nice. It's always nice to have lower gas prices, but the way that we had to lower the gas prices wasn't by drill, baby, drill. It was by fuck it up, baby, fuck it up, baby, fuck it up, baby. He's made the world so insecure that people are more careful about travel, more careful about global trade. It wasn't drill, baby, drill. That's not why gas prices are going down. So you know when gas prices will be really cheap? Like if we had another depression, like if we have a depression like followed the last time we did this tariff war shit, gas prices will be really fucking low, really low. Oil and gas aren't the same thing, but the price, but they're related. Understand? Like the price of oil and the price of gas, they're related. Anyways, they could get down to like $1 again. I mean, nobody would have any food, but it'd be cheap gas, so that's good. Does Cash App post comments publicly? I don't know. That's a good question. I think you can set them to private. Jen may know. I know on Venmo you could, but lost my Venmo. Workout Louis said, keep calling this mofo and his minions out. The only way we stop the bleeding is voting on the next congressional elections. Yeah, look. You guys are gonna get tired of it. The Republicans are gonna get tired of defending this. As much as it's exhausting covering it every day, I'm glad I'm on the side of covering it and not having to defend it, because defending it's a nightmare. Like you can see the defense. The defense is in just do what Trump does. Call me fake news, call me a commie, tell me to move to China, tell me that I'm Mao, anything like that. Anything but to address what he's really doing. In Missouri, this is fucking crazy. When I worked, I didn't do a lot of work. I went up there. I'm going to be honest. My friend ran the cannabis legislation in Utah, and I just went up so I could hang out with him. But one of the things that happens in Utah quite regularly is you'll have like a ballot initiative where the voters vote. If you're not sure what a ballot initiative is, sometimes there'll be like a proposition and you vote yes or no on your ballot. That's a ballot initiative. Most laws in most states are done via Congress, but occasionally you'll have a ballot initiative. And I know for sure in every state they do it differently, but like in Utah, you can pass a bill on the ballot and then the legislature can just gut it. They can change basically whatever they want. This is in Missouri, and Missouri voted to pass a. I hope this is the. I think this is. Oh yeah, this is the paid time off, like maternity paid time off. Missouri passed a bill that I think was like 6 weeks of paid time off. It might say in here, paid sick leave. I don't remember how many weeks it was. I want to say it was like up to 6 weeks, but I could be wrong about that. Anyways, Missouri voters are like, yeah, this should be guaranteed. So they passed it. I think it passed with like 70%, and it went into their legislature. But Republicans, like Republicans always do, just say like, no, you guys don't know anything. We know more. And we don't want to do democracy. That's going to be a little bit of a theme today, is Republicans consistently saying we don't want democracy. We want to just rule. That's what we want. If the voters say something and it's against what we want, then we will shut it down. Here is Republican Senator, Missouri State Senator Rick Bratton. And first off, let the hair go, dog. Just let it go. If you get to this point, let it go. You're not fooling anybody. I don't even know what you're doing with that hair. Let it go. This is I'm gonna guess he's about 5'6". This is just a small man with fragile feelings. And buddy, you're not fooling anybody. It's gone. It's just gone there. You have 8 strands of hair. Let it go. Anyway, here's him talk about why Missouri voters are too stupid and he has to fix their shit.
This is one of those things of the problem with direct democracy. This is exactly what our founders were expressly against when they formed this nation. We're a constitutional republic with individual representation confined by constitutional restraints of what government can and can't do. And for us to think that I'm
so tired of people making up arguments that our founding fathers didn't make. If our founding fathers didn't want ballot initiatives to be allowed, they would have made ballot initiatives not allowed. They left that up to each individual state. They didn't have an opinion on ballot initiatives. That's why they didn't put it in there. But Republicans do this all the time. They say like the absence of something means that the founding fathers were against it. And that's not true. The absence of something being in the Constitution, really, if you read the Constitution, just means it's not going to be a federal law. It's going to be a state law. You're going to have to do this on a state level. This is a state level senator. The people of Missouri allow ballot initiatives. That is states' rights, brother. So when he stands up here and pretends to be like, oh, I care about the Constitution. No, you fucking don't. Because if we didn't want that, if the founding fathers didn't want the option for direct democracy via ballot initiative, they would have just put it in there. But they didn't put it in there, did they? That means it's left up to the states. If you read the Constitution, you know that's what that means. He doesn't care about that. He just wants to tell the Missouri people they can't be trusted. And little McShrimp Dick here, he's the one that should be trusted.
Founders had in their mind's eye that we would be putting in front of every single voter and every single time with every single policy measure for them to decide whether or not this was good or policy or not, especially when the people casting the ballots for measures such as this, they have no skin in the game whatsoever when it comes to these sorts of measures.
No skin in the game? What is he talking? The people that voted are employees. They are business owners. They are retired people. They are students. They all have skin in the game. This is a real good glimpse into what Republicans think about voters and who is really running the party. He's about to tell you the only people he cares about.
No realization of the detriment or the harm that it may cause to their very own bottom dollar, because they may not even understand what these provisions, what these measures would do to their employer.
It always boils down to you can't make business owners pay for things. You just can't. That's what it always boils down to that. The workers have no rights. The idea that like you shouldn't be able to unionize, you shouldn't be able to have rights. It's the weirdest Republican policy that exists. You are told, and you repeat every day, like this is about freedom. Freedom includes your ability to associate. Freedom includes your ability to negotiate. Why should you not have the ability to collectively bargain? Because one person doesn't want it? Sorry, that's society. That's America. There's every single thing that ever gets passed, every bill that ever gets passed, somebody opposes it. But the Republicans consistently just say, you guys aren't thinking about these rich folks. They're asking for paid sick leave, guaranteed paid sick leave. Every other country in the world does it. Every good country. They all do it. If you get sick and you miss 2 weeks of work, you shouldn't lose your house. You shouldn't lose your car. You shouldn't go into debt. You should be able to get sick. And God forbid you get sick, you should also have health care. What the fuck are we doing here? This is embarrassing as Americans. Republicans legitimately are bootlicking all day, every single day. What are you fighting for? What the fuck are you fighting for at this point? How is this what we love this shit. The voters in Missouri are like, hey, we want paid sick leave. And he's like, they don't know what's best for them. I do. You got a president who is running everything from the top down. You're not even allowed to disagree with that guy. What's this freedom you guys are looking for? Was it like the freedom to lick boots? I don't see a whole lot of freedom coming from you guys. I don't see a lot of freedom of thought. I don't see a lot of freedom of legislation. It's all a top-down approach in every step of the way. These are Republicans who voted for this, by the way. These constituents, it's Missouri. It passed with 70%. It was mostly Republicans who voted for it. Your own leaders are like, shut the fuck up and do what we say. And you're like, okay, yes, sir.
I mean, because at the end of the day, the people, most people casting these votes on these measures, they don't own businesses. They don't understand.
Hey, OSHA, tell God to suck my dick. How about that?
What's required to meet the bottom line, to keep people employed. We are not a direct democracy, and we got to stop telling our kids that we're a democracy, first and foremost, because we're not a democracy, or we are a Republican form of government. We say the pledge every day. We say to the republic for which it stands, not the democracy for which it stands, and especially not the direct democracy for which it stands. And people can moan and they can groan, but it's...
Yeah, they can. You guys will probably outlaw moaning and groaning, though, soon. What did you say? Just because you don't believe in God does not mean that's going to change where you spend eternity. That's right. It's not going to change. And just because you believe in God doesn't mean you're going to rot in the ground the same way I am. You are. That's what's going to happen. What a shitty thing. You know, I've always thought this, like, if I live a good life, if I'm a good dad, if I treat people with respect, if I try and help people when I have the ability to help people, if I choose not to discriminate, but I don't get down every day and say, Jesus saved me. If I get to heaven and I don't get in, but that pastor earlier gets in who's like, we should just lie. That's fine with me. I don't want to be there. I don't want to be with you people. If that's how it is, if you can be unbelievably shitty your whole fucking life and then just say, oh, Jesus, I believe in you. You're my guy. And then that's enough. I don't want to be with you. I'd rather burn for eternity. Honest to God. Who the fuck wants to be around you people? You guys are miserable. You're not allowed to think for yourselves. You have to give everything you do. Like every achievement you have, they're like, make sure that you don't take any credit for your own achievement and give the credit to God. Okay. What about when bad things happen? That's you. That's you. All bad things are you. All good things are God. Listen, I lived that way for 30 years of my life. It fucking sucks. It absolutely sucks. You know what's cool? To finish something and have a sense of accomplishment and not feel guilty that you didn't credit some invisible dude. It's a cool thing. It's really fun. It's really fun for me when my daughter comes home from school and she has a project, and I'm like, "Great job, baby! You did amazing. How'd you come up with that? How'd you even think of that?" And she tells me about it. And then before she walks away, I don't go, "Wait. Just remember, baby, you didn't do that. God did that." Just strip yourself of any self-worth. That's why you're conditioned to be MAGA. Right? You don't actually, as one of my big problems with Christianity is you're not allowed to have self-worth. Everything good about you is God, and everything bad about you is your inability to follow God. That's the most manipulative, abusive relationship you could possibly have. If you had that relationship with another human being, and you kind of do with Donald Trump, everybody would be like, "You got to get out of that relationship. You just have to. That's not working. That's bad for you." But when it's like an imaginary dude, it's fine. That's why you see in states where they are the most religious, you see higher levels of substance abuse, specifically higher levels of benzo. Utah dominates benzos. You see higher levels of plastic surgery. You see higher levels of generally of business fraud, financial fraud. It's because there is nothing but God, and if everything can be forgiven by God, then why not just do it and repent later? When I was a kid, we have what was called stake presidents. These are people that are over in Mormon land. You have a congregation. A congregation is called a ward. And then where I lived, a ward was 1 square mile, by the way. It was just 1 city block. And in Utah, everything's on a grid system, so it's literally just 1 square mile. And your ward was basically that, which was 500 people, which is crazy. And then there's a stake president who's over all of that. And we had the stake president in my area. I didn't grow up with money, so my parents weren't involved in this. But a lot of friends I have, including the woman I married's parents, everybody just thought this guy was great. He talked to God. He was a leader, and he had a big house up on the hill because, if you're Christian and you make a lot of money, make sure you're up on the hill so you could look down on everybody and show off your wealth, because Jesus was like, it's easier for a rich guy to get into heaven because he can tip the bouncer than a poor person. I think that's what he said. Anyways, he had this business. Everybody invested in his business, and then one day he was just gone. And he made off with tens of millions of dollars. And he had finessed all these people that thought he talked to God and that he was a leader, and just stole all their money. And then nobody really heard from him. He wasn't able to pay him back. And then I've heard he's resurfaced, and he's just going to church. And he's he's going through the repentance process. Why not just live a shitty life? Why not? Is it just because you're afraid you might die suddenly? Because most people don't die suddenly, so you might as well just live a shitty life and play the odds that you're going to have some time to repent. Might as well just do whatever the fuck you want, because if you can repent there right at the end, great. I'm far more likely to enjoy burning in hell in eternity with some of you folks than hanging out with scumbags like this who just tell people, no, your brains don't work. Hey, Jen.
Hey, I don't know if you saw we have someone waiting to talk with you.
Oh, neat.
I think you might want to turn down the mic volume ahead of time before you go on the conversation. So if you might want to check, because I think it's louder that way. But also just do announcements before you have that conversation too. So today is Friendly Friday. So what we do typically at the last hour of the day is we open it up to our friends in Discord, and you can come up and chat, because we don't typically take friends during the week. So before we do that, we need to hit the gift goal in the top left-hand corner. So Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, Super Chats, I'll go towards knocking out the remaining balance of that goal. If you want to talk to RTP, you can do what our current guest is waiting to do right now, and you can DM me on Discord. My Discord username is the same as the Venmo, so it's Jen, JENN, WBB, the number 1, and I can bring you up to talk to Jay. If you haven't already subscribed to us on Twitch and on YouTube, please do so. If you feel so inclined, you can also do a membership on YouTube. We've got 4 different options, and if you check out our link tree, we're on most social media platforms, and we've got merchandise. So there's all that. let's see. A cop went to the trouble of leaving me a note under my windshield wipers to let me know I positioned my car correctly. It said parking fine, so that was really nice.
I didn't honestly listen. I was reading messages. What'd you say?
Today is extra. Like
Sorry. That was the message I was reading. You were talking shit about me. I don't know what that was.
I mean, that makes so much sense that today is like herding cats.
Yeah.
Like every day is a little bit like herding cats. Today is just extra.
You're welcome. Happy Friday.
And going back to the hell conversation and heaven, all my friends, if there is a hell, all my friends are going to hell, so I want to go there.
Let's go.
They're way more fun. So
do you want
all the overly religious people? I don't know if I wouldn't want to spend. You guys kind of sound like party poopers, to be honest. So. So happy, like Jeremy said, happy zombie Jesus weekend. So,
that's right. Thanks, Jeff.
Don't forget.
All right. Marinetti, is that how you say this? Marinetti, you there?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, did I say that right? Marinetti, is that right?
Yeah, Marinetti.
Hey, welcome.
Hey, so I wanted to talk because I was watching your discussion yesterday with the Jewish guy. Yeah, if you remember that.
Yeah, the Nazi.
I don't think you can be Jewish and a Nazi, but yes.
He's wait, no, he said he's a Nazi. That's what he said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all debate. But you said you're a social democrat. Is that correct?
No, but I think like that's probably what I'm close. I wouldn't consider myself anything, but I think that I find myself like if there was a party, social democratic party, I'd probably be most closely aligned with them. Yeah.
Okay. So you believe in some form of restrained capitalism?
For sure.
Correct in saying that?
Certainly.
Okay. I'm a socialist, so that's kind of why I came on here to discuss.
Sure.
Okay. So can you kind of outline why you support capitalism? Give me a reason.
I don't. I just view things a little differently. I think maybe sometimes this conversation doesn't really go anywhere. The reality is we live in a country with 330 million people, and most of the people are either proclaimed capitalists. They might believe in it, but most of them are afraid of socialism. So I think that you kind of have to create a system. I wouldn't say the best of both worlds, but you're going to have to evolve. And I like systems that are adaptable and that are where change is acceptable. So, like drilling down to one ideology, I think every time somebody tries to do that, it winds up being bastardized.
Okay, that's fair. My kind of my kind of opening statement would be that we see the function of socialist planned economies. We see their successes in places like the Soviet Union and China. Before this truth looks up. Before the Soviet Union, only about 10% of the entire Russian population could read, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and yet within about 15 years, it went from that to sending a man, into space, to being a world superpower, essentially. So that should be kind of enough argument that kind of economic planification works much better than, it's certainly better than feudalism, but better than kind of the exploitative kind of international capitalism you support. Because if we look at China,
I don't think there's a connection there. I don't think you're drawing a connection that works. I don't think saying that the literacy rate was low and then 15 years later, they had space travel. I don't think that you'd have to do more work to convince me that those two things mean that socialism works.
Well, that was just kind of an example, but the core point is that we see in, for example, the feudal backwater that was China, the development of socialism turned into arguably the best economy in the world. And we saw in the Soviet Union, they went from a country where most people were still essentially slaves. They were serfs, right? Where they couldn't read, they couldn't write. They, died. I think the life expectancy was in the 50s. To a country with some of the best healthcare in the world, with the strongest economy in the world, that made constant strides in technology. And we can point that to the fact that the USSR's government, the Politburo, controlled the economy there.
But and then what happened?
And then what happened? It collapsed because of foreign influence.
Yeah, and then what happened?
And now, well, when the Soviet Union formally collapsed, and it was already collapsing before that point, that's kind of a whole other story. They installed Yeltsin. Yeltsin probably wouldn't have won if it wasn't for US backing, right?
Correct. Yeah.
And Yeltsin's economic policies, which were the sort of neoliberal social democrat policies you would support, it destroyed the country essentially. It turned
What would that have to do with what would that have to do with social democrat policies? Social democrat just essentially means that if you're going to use that you believe in like a strong safety net, and that you also believe in democracy. You could have a social democracy that's heavy on socialism. You could have it that's light on socialism.
Well,
I think the democracy part is the democracy part is the part that I like. I don't like the absence of democracy that comes with communism. Oftentimes gets bastardized by socialism. I mean, like Hitler said he was a socialist, even though in practice he wasn't. He used that ideology to get people to abandon their voice democratically, and then he ruled. The thing that I like about democracy is that at least it stands at times as a barrier to authoritarianism. That's why I like democracy. I'm always concerned when somebody says socialism works, communism works, capitalism works. I think all of those things can easily be toppled if you don't have democracy.
Well, you say democracy is good, but the problem with democracy, especially, there's kind of a correlation between the amount of people, and in my eyes at least, because the problem with democracy is that you're relying on kind of mob rule, right?
Yeah.
And that's not a good thing, because the average person, by their own admission, there have been studies done which show that, the kind of political literacy, of the average voter in the US, for example, is atrocious. They probably couldn't even tell you what a tariff is. They just know that it's good or bad depending on what Fox News tells them.
Yeah, but people want a voice. Like, I think the problem with this discussion is, like, if you want to say that people are financially illiterate or politically illiterate, I would agree with that. But people want a voice, and when you take that voice away from them, or you say that voice is being taken away from them, they tend to venture into authoritarianism. They tend to see authoritarianism as the only is their only way out. The clip I played earlier of the Republicans now saying, like, they don't want democracy anymore. There's like, well, we're a republic, we're not democratic, we don't want direct democracy. They're saying the same thing you're saying. They're saying the people are too stupid to vote, and so we're going to drift towards authoritarianism. That's why I like democracy. It's a protection against authoritarianism. And yeah, you're going to be slow to progress a lot. In fact, it slows progress, certainly. And it slows social progress, it slows economic progress, but it acts as a barrier against authoritarianism, which almost always ends in a country imploding. So I like democracy as a barrier against authoritarianism.
Well, okay, you say you clearly don't like authoritarianism, but let me ask you why. Can you give me like a historical example, or?
Sure. I mean, like, I grew up in a cult, so I don't like authoritarianism in that way. I think that authoritarians tend to. Hitler's a good example. I know, just because we have more of his history. But what happened in Germany? It wasn't like everybody's like, "Hey, let's exterminate Jewish people." Hitler wrote a book that was like, "Hey, I want to exterminate Jewish people," and then he like publicly said, "I want to exterminate Jewish people." And yet, the people of Germany that were in the Nazi Party were like, "Nah, he doesn't really mean it." And then they just turned a blind eye. And then when Hitler got in control, he's like, hey, I can't do the things that I need to do if we have all these other parties standing in the way. So he aligned with the church, and he aligned with the big businesses, and they basically said, yeah, you can have full control. And then genocide happened. And it happened so quick.
I mean, okay, well, if you look at, for example, let's use Germany as an example here. If you look at the democratic institutions that were kind of forced upon Germany by the Treaty of Versailles, the country, because of those, was terrible. It had hyperinflation, it had corruption. There were reportedly child brothels in Berlin.
Yeah. And Hitler used all of that angst to convince the whole country to give him control. And once he got control, did he fix that? No, he entered another war and committed a genocide against the Jewish people. That's exactly the point, is that they had real problems. And when you don't have democracy, when your country tries to solve real problems, a lot of people, the same exact people, are politically illiterate, so they don't know when authoritarian is lying to them either. So democracy protects you a little bit more from that authoritarian control. Clearly, we see that when countries are having a hard time, when countries are going through turmoil, they turn to dictators, they turn to authoritarians, and it never works. It always ends in disaster.
Well, okay, with the German example, it did work, though. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and defend everything Hitler did. I'm not a Hitlerite, but if you look at the kind of drastic shift from 1930 to 1936, that's 6 years. Hitler took power in 1933. He was essentially in power since like 32, 31, but that's a whole other story. You know, he rearmed a country that was defanged. He strengthened national pride. People hated Germany. He strengthened the government, right? People were finally, for once, proud to be German.
Wait, how did he do that?
Because he got rid of democracy and he got rid of the degenerate liberal system that was implemented.
Dude, he did a genocide.
I'm not, like I said, I'm not a Hitlerite. I don't defend that.
You said he fixed his way of fixing degeneracy was to do a genocide, to kill
mentioned the Holocaust.
You said degenerate. The Holocaust wasn't just Jewish people. It was also gay people. It was also trans people. It was also atheists. It was those who promoted like sexual freedom.
Well, I mean, I'm not defending that. I mean,
You're
gay. Why would I defend?
I don't know if you're defending it, but what you said is he got rid of degeneracy. What's degeneracy?
Degeneracy is, I was using degeneracy in that context to refer to the liberal system that kind of destroyed Germany. You know, it was forced upon them and it destroyed it.
How did it destroy Germany?
It turned what was possibly the mightiest country in the world into, you know, a country where you needed to bring over 1 million Reichsmark banknotes to buy a fucking loaf of bread.
You don't think that had anything to do with World War I?
That had to do with the fact that they were economically encircled, that they, you know, that they lost, for example, the Saarland. France forcefully took the Saarland
in a war. Yeah, a war. It was a war. They lost a war. That's why they were hurting. I mean, look, with all due respect, like, this is exactly what I'm talking about. People came out of World War I, and they were disillusioned with the German government, and then they said, we'll hand it over to this guy who claims he's a socialist, and he didn't turn out to be a socialist, and then he just ran the country into the ground, put him into another world war, genocided the Jewish people, tried to genocide the LGBTQ folks, and you're like, yeah, this is a good example, because for a couple of years there was some economic prosperity.
I mean, the lack of economic prosperity that, you know, happened when World War II began, that was because World War II began. I mean, they were encircled. They, you know, didn't have the resources necessary. Like I said, I'm not defending Hitler. In my kind of ideal world, he would have probably stopped at the Sudetenland, because there wasn't really many Germans to unify after that point.
I don't think you're making a compelling case for socialism using this argument. Honestly, I think you're making my case that very quickly, if you allow an authoritarian who claims to have the same views as you take control, like, very quickly you find yourself in a position where people are being genocided.
Well, the genocide. I mean, let's, you know, kind of keep on the Hitler thing. The genocide. I mean, Hitler originally wanted to send them to Israel and Madagascar.
I don't care what he said he was going to do. I believe it or not.
No, he tried doing this. It was only.
Yeah, and then he couldn't, and so he sent them. So he sent them to Poland, right?
He sent them to Poland and the Polish government refused to evacuate them. They could have gone.
Oh, it was the Poles. It wasn't Hitler's fault. It was the Poles. The Poles, dude.
No.
You're a Hitler apologist. What the fuck are you talking about right now? You're such an apologist. You keep saying like I'm not for. You're a Hitler apologist. You are trying to soften Hitler right now. Just be honest. I don't know why people are so dishonest when they come up here about what their real views are. You're a Hitler apologist.
Well, I'm a Strasserite, and Strasserites are anti-Hitler, and one of the reasons.
Wait, but you're being an. I don't care. Wait, but you're being apologetic. You're engaging in apologetics for a genocide. I don't care what you claim to be. This is another problem that we have. People claim to be something, but you're clearly engaging in Nazi apologetics right now. You are you are blame shifting all over the place, dude. They did a genocide.
Yeah, I'm not denying that they did a genocide.
You're saying they just stumbled into it? Like,
no, my point was that I'm not saying it was the Poles. My point is that, what later became the Allied powers kind of, they wouldn't accept, for example, the Jewish refugees, right?
Why did they need, Jewish refugees from where?
Well, refugees is the wrong term, sorry. Live debate, but, kind of the Jews Hitler was trying to remove from his country.
Oh, okay.
He was going to send them originally to Israel.
Why are we
Madagascar.
talking?
He wasn't trying to genocide them.
Why are we talking about the other countries and not just the guy who tried to run all the Jewish people out of his country? This is why it feels like apologetics. You want to talk about all these other, why didn't these other countries take them? I don't know, but I do know that that's not worse than running them out of your country. One of those things is significantly more worse. Yeah, we had Nazis here too. Henry Ford was a prominent Nazi. We got into
Hitler literally says he was the greatest American of all time in Mein Kampf.
We got into World War II late because we had so many Nazis on the right, kind of like we do now, that we were slow to get into World War II.
Well, they were slow to get into World War II because they'd been practicing isolationism for about 100 years at that point. I mean, they were slow to get into World War I too. They only got in because they were attacked, directly.
Yeah, well, sort of, right? Sort of. That's not why we went. That's not why we went to Europe.
Well, we went to Europe because
not because of Japan, right? We didn't go to Europe because of what Japan did.
Japan also attacked India and Indochina, which were at that time under.
Are those in Europe?
Well, they're not in Europe, but they were under European occupation. You do know Indochina, specifically Vietnam and Cambodia, were under French occupation at that time.
I understand, but again, I was just saying that the reason we were slow to go to Europe is because so many Americans sided with Hitler. This is a weird conversation. I'm just going to be honest. I think it's very strange that we are talking about everything but Germany right now. People wouldn't take refugees. Well, why were they refugees? Because the guy that German handed their power over to and said, go ahead and be an authoritarian, he's like, you know what? I'm going to get rid of these people. And if other countries aren't going to take him, well, then I guess we got to do what we got to do. That's essentially what you're saying, is that Hitler was left with no choice.
Because he wasn't. I mean, if you'd let me explain.
You always have a choice not to do a genocide. There's always a choice not to do a genocide.
Well, can I explain? Can I explain?
Well, are you going to, can you explain how somebody justifies a genocide?
Okay, sure. Let me explain, right? The US, for example, they refused to accept the kind of Jews that Hitler was trying to remove from his country. And you can say he had no choice but to do genocide. The Holocaust only began, and I'm not going to deny that 6 million died. I'm not going to deny it because I'm not a complete idiot.
That's nice. That's nice. They're at least not all the other apologists.
That only began in 1941. What was going on before 1941? What started in 1941? The two-front war.
What are you saying? Again, you just said that you were going to explain to me that you were going to explain why a genocide was necessary. You didn't have to run Jewish people out of the country. Are you saying that you agree with Hitler that the problems that were happening in Germany were because of Jewish people?
Can I explain?
I want to know. Well, I do need to know if you agree with that so that we can, because you're past that part now. So you agree with that? Okay. All right, so you're just saying,
the Jews had overrepresentation. Look,
brother.
Yes, the Jewish ethnicity had overrepresentation in, for example, the Weimar governments. They had overrepresentation in the Marxist movements that had kind of forced Weimar Germany into civil war. Bavaria for a time declared independence.
So should we?
This is mainstream.
Can I ask you a question? Do you think
Yes.
overrepresentation is justification for a genocide? Because if that's the case, we have an
In and
over.
of itself, I mean,
hold
there are
on,
lots
hold
of-
on, hold on.
yeah.
Let me finish. Because if that's the case, in America, we have an overrepresentation of white Christians in our government. So should we get rid of all of them because they're overrepresented?
Not representation, because I'm not interested in like egalitarianism. What I'm talking about is that the movements which would detriment. Look, I'm gay. I'm fine with like gay people. Like I'm gay myself. My boyfriend is Turkish, right? But the degenerate sexual stuff was being forced by Magnus Hirschfeld. He was Jewish.
Forced? How did he force it? He put people in a room and he at gunpoint and said, "You guys have to have sex with each other."
Well, he was, forcing kind of this, he implemented, and this is real, you can look this up, this is mainstream history. The Scientific American ran an article on this. He implemented this, deal with the Weimar police that would allow cross-dressing if you had a certificate, because it was a crime at that time.
Who the
right?
fuck cares about cross-dressing? Why would I care about that?
It destroys healthy, natural boundaries.
Oh,
between
Jesus
male
Christ.
and
No,
female.
it doesn't. Toughen up. Toughen the fuck up. What are you talking about? It's clothes. Toughen the fuck up. You're now justifying a genocide because of cross-dressing? Because a Jewish person was like, yeah, cross-dressing's okay? Yeah, this is why I don't like authoritarianism. This is exactly why. Because people like you wind up getting power and then they kill people. I think you've made my argument perfectly clear. I think everybody here now is like, oh, that's why we don't like authoritarianism. Your proof was that somebody was okay with cross-dressing, and that's why you needed to eliminate Jewish people?
If you look at it's not just like one Jew.
I don't
Okay,
even
look,
understand why you're laughing
when-
right now. This is crazy. Why are you laughing at this? This is crazy.
Because you seem to miss the overarching point and are focusing on this one thing. Like, it's not just that there was one Jew who was fine with cross-dressing. This guy had massive influence in the Weimar government and the banking sector, which had
Who cares?
sold
Wait,
German industry
what was he doing, though?
overseas. The French government, which had imported into the Rhineland a bunch of, specifically, and again, this is mainstream history. They imported a bunch of African colonial soldiers to the Rhineland.
I don't care about any. I don't care about
German women.
Yeah, I don't
who
care. I
debauched
don't
German
care
women.
about any of this. You are taking the actions of a Jewish person and ascribing them to Jewish people.
It's not one.
What? Excuse me. I let you go on for quite a while there. It was not. It's frankly, it's nonsense. You, if you had been in Hitler's Germany, you would have been exiled too. You would have been in Poland. You would have been in the concentration camps too. This is fucking sick. Honest to God, I don't believe that you're gay. I think that you're lying. I think that you're cosplaying. I think all of you guys do this. And I'm sorry that if you are gay, and I'm sorry if you are gay. I'm sorry if you are. Excuse me. I'm sorry if you are gay and you're not cosplaying. I do feel bad about that. But if you are gay and you're supporting this, I don't even get it. Like, you think that you should be eliminated? I'm justifying Hitler because he eliminated people like me. If that's the case, that might be more sad. That's probably more sad than you cosplaying. But I really don't want to have this discussion anymore, if we're being honest. I appreciate you coming by, but I don't really want to do this anymore.
All right, see you.
All right, see you. Jesus Christ. Sorry, my daughter came in. Jesus. That was wild. How do we move on from that? Let me read some comments, I guess.
Turtles for straws, right?
What's that?
Turtles for straws, right?
That's crazy. Rory said, I get through my day with you and the mods. Thank you. Jeremy said, happy zombie Jesus weekend. Katie said, here's to good company in hell. Dreamliner said Trump was holding a press conference and a person threw up in the middle of his rant. See what his hate does to people. Hope that person is okay. I gotta find that. Do you have that clip, Jed? I haven't seen that. For someone not defending Hitler, you sure are defending Hitler. Swiss genocide aside is a wild take. Yeah, that was wild. That took a turn I didn't expect. Did I get everything? Let me check here too.
What was the clip that you're talking about? What was it again?
Somebody threw up while Trump was talking.
Oh, Okay, hold on.
Uh,
All right.
it's crazy.
Yeah, you don't know.
Yeah, text that one, but I'm not going to read it.
Okay.
It's probably just
Well,
text.
it's a good time to say fuck text.
There we go.
There's that. Okay, so we've got about an hour before Friendly Friday is supposed to start. We need to get closer to our gift goal to be able to do that. So how we Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, Super Chats all go towards knocking out the remaining balance of our gift goal. So we like to do our Friendly Fridays. If you haven't subscribed to us on Twitch, you can do so with an Amazon Prime sub. Please subscribe on YouTube as well. We got 4 different memberships. And also check out our link tree for our other socials and our merch. Did you get sprays on Cash App? She just asked. Are you muted?
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, I did. I was just doing some math, so let me put that in before I forget so I don't have to do it again. I read this actually while he was talking. Speaking of being a consumer, are you an eater? Of course. Everybody should be an eater.
Did you read the Venmo comments in our chat?
Yeah.
Oh, music free.
Chrissy said Gen Z might not get this joke, but what do you call a hijacker with no fingers? A Palm Pilot. I remember Palm Pilots. What was that thing you could do with Palm Pilots where you could it was like the original airdrop. I forget what that was called.
I don't know. I hated Palm. I think I worked for HP and they acquired Palm at one point in time and they made me get a Palm device.
They were dope.
I hated Palm. It was awful.
They were dope. They had Brickles on there, or the brick game. I love them. Renee said we're looking forward to that Feet Pit calendar you announced you're releasing. Yeah, I'm trying to get athletes foot before I do that calendar, just make it worse. And Cam said, what about rug enjoyers? All right. I got them all, I think, Jen.
So we've got a couple that came through on. So Robin said happy Friday. Also Sophia said that was fucking crazy. I'm appalled there are people the callers around apologizing Hitler, that's sick. Anyway, happy Friday. And then hey howdy said F text.
Yeah, it's the Nazis are just dumb people, and they literally sit around and they give each other their arguments. Do you remember? You probably remember, I forget. Tyler Bluntman, and they had their group, and they would just sit around in Discord and they would share stuff that they thought was compelling arguments. But again, at the end of the day, you make conservatives defend their positions, and it doesn't go well. They have no idea how to defend their positions because their position is we do what Trump says. Let's get to RFK because go ahead.
So one thing he called himself a socialist because he considered himself a national socialist.
Yeah, but
I just put those.
In the message, didn't he say he was a Marxist or something?
He said Marxist, but he said socialist too.
I mean, that's fine. Marxism's just a different take on it. All right.
Okay.
It was weird. Imagine this guy calling other people dumb. Yeah, Chris. If you vote are trying to defend Trump, you should come up. If you're not dumb, if you can defend it in a way that's not dumb, I would love that. I'm looking for non-dumb Trump supporters. Just having a hard time finding them. Speaking of dumb, this is RFK, and RFK keeps making some pretty wild claims over and over, and this is one I just want to address. RFK made some horrific comments yesterday about autism. I'll show those in a minute, but first I want to show the RFK just lies all the time, and he lies about vaccines all the time, and he explains why in this clip, and he explains it all the time, and I feel like the MAGA folks miss it, but here's RFK.
So not a single one of the vaccines, the 72 vaccines now administered to our children, have ever been tested against a placebo. And I, in fact, sued HHS in 2016 and said, show me any placebo studies that you have for any vaccines. And
that's the giveaway. I sued HHS for any studies they had that showed vaccines against placebos. HHS maybe didn't want to give it to him. Maybe HHS didn't perform the study. There are plenty of studies on literally every single vaccine and they have been given a placebo test. Every one of them. Every vaccine that is given to children that I could find. Maybe I'm missing one. Everyone that I could find. The ones that he mentions regularly. MMR, polio. Is that part of it? No, that's not part of polio. What's the other one? All of them have been tested against placebo. He says this all the time, but the way that he words it is so dishonest, because he's like, I sued them and they didn't give me anything. Well, did you Google? Because these exist. These tests do exist. See how it does? See how slick that is? Though they didn't give me the answer, they don't have to. Maybe that's why you lost the lawsuit. But that's all this guy does. He just sues, and not Big Pharma, by the way. He's not out here suing Big Pharma. He's always suing government entities. If this guy's so worried about like the opioid epidemics, and if he's so worried about what's being put into our bodies, why is he not suing the pharmaceutical companies? Why is the last like 4 or 5 years he's just been going after the government? I'm pretty sure early on he did sue pharmaceutical companies, and now he's just like, I'm just going to go after the government. But he's lying right now to say that there's no placebo studies. I checked this morning, and you guys can check this too. Just if you have a ChatGPT or Google, just Google, pick any of the vaccines and say double-blind placebo test or study. You'll find one. Every single one of them I found one for. I don't know why we let this dude just lie all the time.
We're unable to do so. None of them have been tested. And you don't have to sue them like I did. Anybody can go on their cell phone and look up manufacturer's insert, hepatitis B vaccine, Gardasil vaccine, polio vaccine. Do you know how many days the current polio vaccine, do you know how many days it was safety tested for, Alan? 48 hours. Sure. The hepatitis B vaccine, the Glaxo version, was 4 days. The Merck version, 5 days. That means that if the baby they gave that to had a seizure on day 6, it never happened. If the baby died on day 6, it never happened.
No, it doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean that. Now, I'm not an expert here, but what I can tell you is they're studying for a reaction to the vaccine. And these vaccines have a, I forget what they call it, but basically there's a window in time when you're expected to see a vaccine, you're expected to see a reaction from a vaccine in this window of time. When he says if it happened on day 6, then it never existed. True, except for if like a lot of times it happened on day 6, do you think the doctors would just be like, no, we're not reporting it? No, they certainly, if you had like this epidemic of people dying on day 6, or you had an epidemic of people dying within a year, or if you had an epidemic of people who you could connect to the vaccine, all this is just fear mongering. They just say, oh, this exists. It's a 5-day window. What about on day 6? Okay, so what if you do 6 days? What about day 7? What if you do 400,000 days? Well, what if it happens on day 400,001? This line of logic doesn't work because there's no end date, because tomorrow's coming, right? You can never have enough days. He sets this argument up in such a dishonest way. He's like, oh, well, if we don't include all data up until this very moment, then it shouldn't count. All because he just wants to prove his theories right. He's not really interested in finding out if they're right. He's very interested in just proving that he's right.
If the baby got food allergies that were diagnosed 2 years later, it never happened. If the baby got autism, which is not diagnosed till 4 years of age, 4.2 years of age, it never happened. Autoimmune diseases, you cannot see those if you have these short-term studies, and you can't see any risk if you don't test against a placebo. And my question is, nobody knows. Because of that, nobody knows the risk profile for any vaccine that is currently on the schedule.
Yes, we do, because people have adverse reactions in those windows. Somebody said they only make you wait 15 minutes. That was COVID. But again, because most of those reactions happen inside that window. They also tell you, here's a list of potential adverse reactions that you could have in the future. If you have any of these adverse reactions in the future, please contact your doctor. So now he's setting up a completely impossible scenario. What do you want the doctor? You're going to sit with the doctor your whole life? How long do you want them to keep you with the doctor to watch you? 5 days, 6 days, 7 days? And then you're not going to support time off, right? You're not going to support that that your company have to pay you or that the government reimburse you for that time out, right? Do you see? None of this makes sense. This is how conspiracy theories work. They just find something that like this, where they only wait 48 hours. Oh yeah, that's bad. That seems bad. It should be way longer than that. But what if it was 72 hours? Oh, it should be longer than that. They only monitor it for a month. Well, it should be longer than that. You know what? Did you know they only monitor it for the first 5 years? Are you kidding me? Did you know they only monitor it for the first 30 years? What? So after 30, you just don't know? Do you know they only monitor it for 70 years? What? They don't care about our senior citizens. They're trying to kill our senior citizens. Did you know they only monitor it till 80? Oh, yeah, that's because they want everybody over 80 to die because then we get their Social Security. Do you see how this works? Like everything just becomes a conspiracy. No matter what answer they give, there's just going to be a conspiracy on top of it. That's how this type of programming works. That's why RFK is successful on that side of the aisle. That's why nobody on this side of the aisle liked RFK. Because we can follow, like, this is logic. If you're following this all the way through, you have to recognize that no vaccine study will ever be complete. And therefore, every vaccine is dangerous and you shouldn't get it. And meanwhile, people are dying. People are dying from measles. Children are dying from measles. He's made millions of dollars spreading these lies, and then he's in charge. It's like, let's make this guy in charge. He seems like the right guy. The guy that profits off people not being vaccinated. Cool administration we have here.
And that means nobody can say with any scientific certainty that that vaccine is averting more injuries and deaths than it's causing. And my question is, how in the heck can we be mandating to children that they take a medical product for which we do not know the risks?
We do know the risks. We sure do. He's just a grifter. It's too easy. It's too easy for you MAGA folks. You got to make it a little more difficult on grifting. You guys are getting taken advantage of. You got to stand up for yourselves a little bit more. Is this the one? Here's what he said yesterday, or a few days ago, excuse me. In this was the Trump meeting we were talking about, where everybody they just went around the room and told Trump how great he was and how everything they're doing is because of him. It's very much like what we were talking about earlier, where like you don't get to take credit for any of your stuff. You have to praise God. God did everything. They're doing the same thing here. They're like, oh yeah, I could not do this if it wasn't for you, dear leader. But here's RFK making a crazy claim here.
We've launched a massive testing and research effort that's going to involve hundreds of scientists from around the world. By September, we will know what has caused the autism epidemic, and we'll be able to eliminate those exposures. So big.
Jenny says, great week and have a great weekend. Thank you, Jenny, for being so great. Jordan said he only hires the best and the brightest. Who said that? RFK has better abs than you, so I'll listen to RFK. That's really smart, because the reason that RFK has good abs is because he's smart, not because he works out. That's how you get big abs, is you just think. The smarter you are, the better your abs will be. That's usually the case. If you're that dumb, be that dumb. I don't know what to tell you. Or the smartest people in the world all have six packs. That's the way you tell somebody's intelligence, if they have abs. He has abs because he does steroids and he works out. That's why he has abs. He's been on TRT for 20 years. Oddly enough, not that strong. If you actually watch him work out, not as strong as he looks. Still strong for his age. Stronger than his voice sounds. But yeah, if that's how you take your medical advice, you deserve to get whatever disease is he's going to unleash on the world. So he says that he's going to figure out the cause of autism by September. That's a crazy thing to say. How would you know? How would you set a deadline for a scientific discovery? How would that even happen? What it sounds like to me is they're putting together a report that will be released in the name of the government that links vaccines to autism. Sounds like that's how you would announce that, right? Oh, we have all the research. We're gonna release this report in September when we have it ready. You wouldn't say, I'm going to make this scientific discovery by September, you say, I'm going to release the paper by September. That's what's going to happen. And we're already doing this. We're already putting out scientific misinformation on government websites. Let me show you. I'm going to skip, Jen. I'm going to go to 11 because I want to show this. These are screen grabs from the whitehouse.gov. But this is what they're posting now. It's the proximal origin of SARS-CoV-2 publication, which was used repeatedly by public health officials in the media to discredit the lab leak theory, was prompted by Dr. Fauci to push the preferred narrative that COVID-19 originated naturally. Why the fuck is Donald Trump on this, first of all? He was the president. He was the president during this. He gave Dr. Fauci a medal during this. You guys remember the presidential, Medal of Commendation? Let me pull up this picture here. This was Trump's own statement, January 19, 2021, on his way out the door, by the way. This is 2021. We're in COVID. We've done Operation Warp Speed. He awards the presidential commendations to Mark Milley, Alex Azar, Jared Kushner. By the way, boy, did he turn on Mark Milley. See how many people he loves until they say something bad about him? Alex Azar, Jared Kushner. I don't know who Dr. Monkef Sleoey is. General Gustave Perna, Deborah Birx, Anthony Fauci. At the end of his administration, he sure liked them. Oh, these guys are great. Then he puts up this. This is their fact sheet. The virus possesses a biological characteristic that is not found in nature. True-ish. They haven't found the origins of it. It obviously exists in nature, but they haven't found the origins of it. So it's a weird thing to say. Like, when they say that they haven't found the origins of COVID, they're saying that it's not found in nature means they haven't found it in nature. But we discovered new species. We discovered new viruses every single year. Every year we find things that we didn't know existed in nature. Data shows that all COVID-19 cases couldn't have, that it had to be. By the way, I'm not ruling out the lab leak. Let's be very clear on this. Nobody has ever ruled out the lab leak. Even early days, Fauci didn't rule out the lab leak. What Fauci said, if you go back and watch him, he said, people would ask him about the lab leak, and he said, well, the data that we have right now points to it coming from the wet markets. And then data has come out since then that leads people to question, it absolutely could have come from a lab leak. It absolutely could have. But this administration doesn't care about like being accurate. So they're putting something out now that says it started as a lab leak. Why do you think they're doing this right now? Any guesses? Why would they suddenly start talking about the lab leak theory? Oh, because they're getting their dicks kicked in by China. Oh, that's why. Trump's getting absolutely decimated by China. And so he is scrambling now, using the government websites to push unfounded scientific claims. Let's call it propaganda to try and fight this war against China. He's getting beat so badly that he's like bringing up conspiracy theories, unproven conspiracy theories, and he's publishing them as true to try and make China look bad. Wuhan is home to China's foremost SARS research lab, which has a history of conducting gain-of-function research. It's true. Wuhan Institute of Virology researchers were sick with COVID-like symptoms in the fall of 2019, months before COVID-19 was discovered at the wet market. That's true. But they were also tested. I don't know if all of them, but the ones I've seen were tested, and they did not have COVID. They had seasonal flu. So they actually were tested for this. So it wasn't COVID-19. See, did they add that in there? Did they add in the part where they were tested? By nearly all measures of science, if there was evidence of a natural origin, it would have already surfaced, but it hasn't. Not true. It's not true. How many diseases are incurable right now? How many? Like I just saw something yesterday that was talking about. It was a new, I guess, discovery out of Tufts University, where they're saying that they believe that the cancer cell is not a genetic mutation. It's the cell's inability to communicate properly with each other. And they believe that you can retrain the cells to communicate properly. So again, we still don't know cancer. We still don't know what causes all cancer. We don't know how to cure a lot of cancer. That's been around a lot longer than COVID. So to say that we would know is just not true. But I do think it adds credibility to the lab leak theory, because we're never going to get an answer on this. We're actually never going to know where the origins were. I believe it's too late. I don't think we can ever definitively say that it came from a lab leak. We shouldn't rule out that it came from a lab leak, but we should have questions about this administration and this government positioning things as if they are absolutely true without them being absolutely true. I have questions about that. I don't disagree that it could have come from a lab. But if you are saying it definitely came from a lab, you're just guessing. You want that to be true, you're guessing. Anybody who says it definitely came from a lab, based on the data that we have now, is just guessing. So anyways, not unusual for the, and I think that's what they're going to do in September. I think they're going to put out debunked research. The doctor that they have running the study has already been debunked multiple times in trying to link autism to vaccines, and I think they're going to put out some bullshit republished study that he's already done, and they're going to claim that vaccines cause autism, because again, like before anything else, these are all egomaniacs. RFK is just an egomaniac. He's not comfortable being wrong. He's not going to be okay being wrong. So he's going to put out a study that confirms what he believes. So then, where is it? Did I not put it on here? I think it's here. Yeah. Oops. Here was RFK. Here's what he said about people with autism.
As well.
Trigger warning. Let's just say trigger warning. If you want to say, maybe people are going to say he misspoke, he wasn't careful with his words. I don't know if my friend Chad watches the show. I don't know if he does or not. But my friend Chad doesn't really post a lot about his personal life. He and his wife didn't have, they were unable to have children for a while. And I've talked to him about this, so it's fine to share this. I want to be clear. They had a child, and for the first 2 years, they just thought she didn't want to learn to speak. There were some signs, but they weren't unsure. They've now done testing, and she has autism, and she's nonverbal, and she's actually progressing amazingly, and they love their daughter, and they don't view their daughter as less than. Right? Like I let me play the clip first, and then I'll share.
Sir, this is an individual tragedy as well. Autism destroys families. More importantly, it destroys our greatest resource, which are our children. These are children who should not be suffering like this. These are kids who, many of them were fully functional and regressed because of some environmental exposure into autism when they're 2 years old. And these are kids who will.
That's a wild thing. I mean, look, if you're a parent with an autistic child, you know this better than I do, certainly. I'm only speaking from the stories that I've been told. But a lot of parents, he's talking about 2 years old. It's when children, when children start being more verbal, that a lot of these parents notice that like their child wasn't developing in the same way as other children were. And that's, some 2-3 years old. And most of the people I know that have children with autism, that's kind of about the time they started recognizing these signs. So when they say my child was perfectly normal, and then all of a sudden, normal's the wrong word. My child was one way, and then suddenly they were a different way. That's most of the time just you becoming aware of it, right? You seeing a difference between the way that your child is acting and the way another child is acting. That's completely normal. What he's saying right now is that like it hurts families. Oh, tell that that Love on the Spectrum show. That's one of the best shows on TV. Everybody watches that and leaves having a better day. Those folks that are on that show, their heart, their sincerity, their honesty. Like, why the fuck are we looking at somebody who's has autism? Let's talk about specifically on that show. And you see people who wear their hearts, their emotions, their feelings, their words on their sleeves. They are unapologetically who they are. And society's like, oh, that's devastating. But we all want to be that. Most of us don't have the courage to be that. We all hide behind our own insecurities. Most people are afraid of being authentic. are afraid of saying things that other people judge you for. I honestly, like, I talked to somebody this weekend about ADHD, and one of the frustrating things about ADHD is that sometimes people will tell me when I'm describing what the symptoms are, they'll say something like, "Oh, you're just being a victim. Like, you just have to tough through that." If I don't know what to tough through, I can't tough through it, right? If I don't know that my brain is wired a certain way, how do I overcome that? The fact that people did research on ADHD and then they understood the symptoms, and then they've studied brain patterns, and they've studied for decades the behavioral patterns, that helps me. But you know what I wouldn't do? I wouldn't trade ADHD. I fucking love it. I love that I have ADHD. It does not hurt my family. It doesn't hurt my relationships. I love having ADHD. It's fucking great. Every day I wake up and I want to learn something new. And when I see something that bothers me, it bothers me to the point of action, where I go and I learn new things. It forces me, it helps me be better at things. Like, to me, it's honest to God. It's like it's superpower. I get to do what I love. I get to do this job because I have ADHD. I'm inquisitive. So when I put out an outline, it's not homework. It's fun for me. I can put that all together. I can't believe we're talking about I can't believe the HHS secretary is talking about it this way. I grew up in a very Mormon neighborhood, and there was a young kid. I don't know. He's probably, I don't know. He's got to be 6 or 7 years younger than me. His name is Nathan, and Nathan is autistic, and he would go on walks with his grandpa. His grandpa was like 3 trillion years old, and we would see them walking every day, and just Nathan talking to his grandpa, and his grandpa just listening. I remember his grandpa had this hunched back, and it was adorable. But Nathan, I would be outside playing basketball, and Nathan and his grandpa, they would walk by, and he'd say, "Hi, Jay. I know you love basketball. You're number 13. You're playing American Fork this week." Nathan and I didn't, like, Nathan would just go and read newspapers and know schedules. And then the next day he'd come by, he's like, "Jay, you're playing basketball. You're not wearing a long sleeve shirt today." Dude, that's a superpower. It feels good when somebody talks to you. It feels good when somebody comes up to you and they tell you about something they remember about you from the day before. It makes you feel seen. It makes you feel like people care about you, right? Nathan Steele, whenever he sees anybody in my family, Jay, what's Jay doing? Jay lives in Arizona. How's Jay's dogs, Dorothy and Rose, doing? Jay had another dog. I had a dog named Palin. Palin died. He knows everything about everybody. This is devastating to hear the HHS secretary say that, like, "Oh, I'm here for the people. Like, I want to find this link." It sounds an awful lot like you don't think autistic people are very good, and that you think autistic people are less than, and that you're going to be a hero by curing autism. Please don't. Please don't. Like, the world needs more of that. Don't do that. Don't try and demonize it now. We've come so far in understanding all this stuff. Don't do that.
Never pay taxes. They'll never hold a job. They'll never play baseball. They'll never write a poem. They'll never go out on a date. Many of them will never use a toilet unassisted. And we have to recognize we are doing this to our children.
With no evidence the vaccines cause autism, he says we're doing this to our children, and he lumps in everybody with autism. And so what if somebody never uses the bathroom unassisted? So what? I've loved some of these responses, by the way. I think it's here. This is a dad that responded this. He said, "This is, what did he say? This is my son. He has autism. He's teaching himself piano and learns songs by ears. He taught himself to read at 2 years old. He's in the 94th percentile for math. There's challenges, but he's the best thing in my life. There's nothing wrong with him. Fuck you, RFK." Listen to this kid. I don't know how old he is. Maybe 4 or 5 by the looks at him. I love it. This is sorry we're the party of empathy. Sorry about that. The Onion absolutely wrecked RFK. While we can laugh a little bit. This is the Onion article they put out. Show me where you make autism, shouts RFK, storming the Sour Patch Kids factory. Part of the health secretary's highly publicized pledge to determine the cause of the disorder in the next 5 months, a wide-eyed Robert F. Kennedy Jr. reportedly shouted, "Show me where the autism is made," Thursday while storming the Sour Patch Kid factory. "Attention, Sour Patch factory people. Give me the autism and no one gets hurt," said the 71-year-old cabinet member and vaccine skeptic who cocked his gun and kicked down the door of the facility, grabbing workers, shooting bullets at conveyor belts, and kicking down enormous vats of bright-colored gelatin before demanding to see the head autism scientist so he could unalive him and end autism forever. Enough. You can try to hide autism all you want, but I know it's in here. I can smell it. He's such a fucking idiot. This administration is not real. Is there any other ones there? I don't think so. All right. We'll jump into it. Jen, did you have an updated total? Did you send it to me? Sorry, math's not going to work for me today. Let's see. All right. Update this. Shit. Here's a calculator for you. And let me check messages. We're cruising.
I sent you a total.
Yeah, I got it.
I don't know if you saw Chris, I don't know if you saw my screenshots of lovely Chris who wanted to come in and chat, but he didn't have any manners. So,
Hi, let me talk to this guy. Is that how you asked? Jen's a dickhead.
There's more. There's a second part.
The stream you're associated with is with the last thing is nice. So your manners go out the window. The stream you are associated with, the last thing is nice. I don't know, brother.
Last thing he has is grammar.
Yeah. Sorry, bud. Sorry, Chris. You gotta say please though to Jen. It's very important.
I haven't said anything mean to you, but just, hey, can I get on to talk? But no, if you're gonna come in and be a dickhead, not gonna happen. But you have a couple of other
I'm gonna read them now.
super chats and stuff. So
all right. Johnny said, "Did my first get skipped? Are my comments that dumb?" Sorry, Johnny. You might have missed the beginning where I'm unmedicated but also medicated today. So Jen's doing her best to keep me reading all the comments. Sully said, "Great job, Jay and team. Love you guys." Jamie said, "Great weekend. Have a great weekend. Thank you, Jen, for being so great." Did I miss Johnny's before? Because I read that. Let me scroll down, Johnny. Oh, there it is. Oh, Yaich Kia. What was that about? Was I saying somebody's?
It's his current. It's today's balls.
That's what balls mean. That's balls.
It's today's balls. I'm guessing.
Okay.
I don't know if I just made that up. So
I think I missed these two. Keep calling his mofo minions out. The only way to stop bleeding is voting on the next congressional elections. All right, I think I got them. Did I miss some on your end, Jen? Some memos? Did you say?
I think So Pink had said, "Thank you for highlighting the positives of neurodivergency." Jumar said, "A Jewish Nazi and gay met at a bar."
And gay Nazi met at a bar. It was just that one guy though, there by himself.
Who, Chris or the Jewish or the gay Nazi? Oh, sorry. I think those are the only ones. Yes.
And he's talking about our last two guests. Yeah.
Yes, I just clicked. So.
All right. Cool. All right. Thanks, Jen. We're caught up there. Let me do this. This is that we showed some of that stuff from Rachel Maddow the other day, the NLRB whistleblower. This is him yesterday on Jake Tapper, adding a little more context. If you remember, this is the person who figured out by looking at the data that the Doge team not only was downloading data, but also apparently giving access to the Russians. And what they would do is they would go in and they would basically destroy all the protections, break down all the security, download all the data, and then be gone. But here he was with Jake Tapper yesterday.
TAC did, among others. Joining us now, Daniel Baroulis. He's the whistleblower that we were talking about, as well as his attorney, Andrew Buckeye. And Daniel,
Spike, that's right.
You're fairly new to this role. This is your first TV interview as a whistleblower. And also, you're fairly new to the role at the National Labor Relations Board. You're just under a year with the agency. How did you first deduce that there was a problem?
So I spent a lot of time in the private sector, and you start to see these indicators of compromise sometimes, and they kind of raise red flags. And so when you start seeing those, you put together the puzzle, and more likely than not, that's how you flesh out a breach. And I saw those same indicators in my agency and started raising the flag.
So in your complaint that you shared with Congress, you include this screenshot we're going to show. It shows a large spike in data leaving the National Labor Relations.
That's the freedom spike right there that we talked about.
Board. You say that's extremely unusual because data almost never directly leaves the databases.
And it should be noted that the Republican freedom spike is quite skinny.
How do you know what was being removed, and is it possible you saw something that has a plausible explanation behind it?
I definitely would prefer that, actually. I've tried to prove the negatives multiple times. It correlates directly with data that was exiting the database at the same time. There's a lot of corroborating evidence that points to it. That was the first thing I tried to do, is just rule out every other solution before I went this route.
We reached out to the White House about your claims, which obviously were made public when you came forward and went to Congress. You got this statement, quote, "It is my..."
Guys, do your best to ignore Steven in the chat. Steven, get all your talking points out. It's fine. Just get them out. Everybody let Steven do his thing. He got a whole list he has to post today. Get them all out, Steven.
Months old news that President Trump signed an executive order to hire DOJ employees at agencies and coordinate data sharing. Their highly qualified team has been extremely public and transparent in its efforts to eliminate waste, fraud, and abuse across the executive branch, including the National Labor Relations Board, unquote. What's your response to that?
So I believe that if that was true, we would have access to the code that they're running. We would be able to see these things that they're hiding. I don't believe that there's transparency, and that's all I'm asking for here.
And Andrew, give us the view.
Now, again, a couple of things we need to remind people of. I bet I probably should have pulled this up, but let's just do this. Let's use Twitter function or Twitter search function, and I'm going to search read only access Doge. And what I'm going to find is probably a bunch of Republicans talking about read only access. Let's see. Here's Caroline Levitt.
Sounds like something that they're most concerned about is Doge engineers with access to Treasury systems. Can you clarify, do the Doge engineers have read-only access in these systems, so they are not allowed to write new code? They are not, okay. No. And that sounds like...
Now, the NLRB whistleblower just said not only do they write their own code, we don't have access to their code, and they have more than read-only access. Remember when they lied about that? Look, I'm old enough to remember them arguing with me. It was just a few weeks ago. It was just a few weeks ago that they said we only had read-only access. You guys are just lying about this. You think that they can't even download this data. It's read-only access. That's what you told us. So you lied. They lied to you. Do you care? Of course you don't care. You can't care. You're not allowed to care when Donald Trump lies to you. You just move on.
The 30,000-foot view here, because...
Get it all out, Stephen. We're almost there, bud. You're doing great. Everybody, clapping hands in the chat for Stephen. Stephen, we are pro letting your feelings out, and this is a safe place for you. We just want you to know that we're with you today. Get all those feelings out, every talking point in a row. Keep pasting them. Do your thing, Stephen. We're really happy for you.
Obviously, this data could be beneficial to others, either corporations or even a foreign actor with malign intention. How do you know that?
So we know that because the information that the National Labor Relations Board looks at are basically corporate documents and things that involve unions. So there's a lot of sensitive corporate information that is included within this, which yes could be of interest to Elon Musk, but at the same time they're of interest to our foreign adversaries. I'd like to step back for a moment and talk about what the larger implication is here. So this is happening at the NLRB, at the National Labor Relations Board. But Dan is brave enough to come forward, and there are others within the government that I've talked to and that we've talked to who have seen something identical as this. There are two data points that I want to point out that should give everybody pause. The The first thing, what Dan witnessed, was that within 15 minutes of Doge employees creating user accounts, i.e. usernames and passwords, within 15 minutes of those accounts being created, somebody or something from Russia tried to log in with the right username and right passwords. That is to say, the right credentials.
Explain that. I would love. The Republicans aren't going to explain this. The Trump administration is not going to explain this. Elon's not going to explain this because all of you are cowards. Or none of you. You're cool with this. They're just like we just trust Elon. We want him to do whatever he wants. But somebody explain that to me. If there's somebody here that works in IT, explain it to me. How is it that you create new usernames and passwords, and within 15 minutes, people in Russia have those same usernames and passwords? Either we're making like the world's weakest usernames and passwords, or somebody's sharing it with Russia, right? Somebody explain how that happens. Why is it not a bigger story? If this was Joe Biden, we'd have hearing after hearing after hearing about this. And by the way, Democrats would be on your side. We'd be with you. We don't do this shit. Nobody ever in the history of our country has done this shit. There's no whataboutisms to play here. I know Steven's trying to get every fucking whataboutism out in the world, but there is no whataboutism where somebody who didn't work for the government got access to our systems from a Trump executive order that said, we're not going to vet you. You don't have to pass background checks. You can just come in. And then we're going to tell everybody you have read-only access. We're going to give you whatever access you want. You can write new code. You can transfer that data, and Russians are going to get a hold of it. Only in MAGA world. Oh, this is the only time in the history of our country that you can get away with this publicly. Privately, there's lots of times that I'm sure our government has done shit like this and got away with it. But publicly, this is the only time you could get away with it. And that's because that's what MAGA does. You think when you guys do something that is wrong, that it must mean that everybody else has done worse. There's no accountability from you folks. And that's kind of the theme today. Like you just want a monarchy. You want an oligarchy. You want somebody to do your thinking for you, to do your talking points for you, and you just want to wake up every day and not think. Maybe that's why you guys are against neurodivergent people. You're tired of people who think about shit. Why are there all these people who were thinking about shit instead of just following orders?
And that happened over 20 times. The second data point, which is really critical, is that Doge has also been using Starlink as a means to exfiltrate data. What that means is that, from our understanding, that Russia has a direct pipeline of information through Starlink, which means that anything going through Starlink is going to Russia. We also know that this is not unique to the NLRB. This is
shout out to your Republic. I hope if you guys have Starlink, that's dope.
Happening government-wide. And then the other thing that I wanted to flag for everybody is that right now, and I don't want to say that this is intentional, it could very well have been a mistake, is that critical infrastructure databases in many government agencies, as we understand it, have been exposed to the open internet, which includes critical databases at the Department of Energy, which includes a lot of our nuclear regulatory agency material. So right now, the real concern is that this is not unlike Chernobyl and all of the control panels lighting up after the meltdown. This is serious, and I just want to commend Dan for coming forward to bring this to everybody's attention, because...
Why should I believe some pencil neck? Evidence. Don't believe anybody. Why are you asking who you should believe? That's the better question. Why are you picking and choosing who you believe? Just verify the data. Everything that they just said there, they've released. We have the evidence. What do you think that graph was? I only believe the people that I want to believe. Well, you're set up for failure. People lie. People that you love, people that you trust, they lie. I don't know if you were here at the beginning when we talked about how everybody in my hometown lost millions of dollars collectively because they trusted a guy. They're like, oh, we trust this guy. He'll never do us wrong. And then he just stole all their money. Don't trust people, especially not politicians, any of them. Zero. You should trust zero politicians. If you believe something, it should be because you've looked it up. It should be because you've checked. And if you find yourself saying, I don't believe that because that person hates Trump, you're selling yourself short. You can hate Trump and tell the truth about him. You can like Trump and lie about him. Republicans are so busy thinking about everybody's intentions that they forget to pay attention to facts. And that's largely the difference between our two parties right now. I won't say parties. That's largely the difference between the people that are here and that are on our side of the aisle and the people that are here on your side of the aisle. We're very interested in figuring out answers. You guys are very interested in trying to guess people's feelings and motivations. And my way seems better. Your way seems like it's a lot of guesswork. But the cool thing is you guys have figured out this loophole where when you're wrong, you just say that you're not. Like, no, we weren't wrong. The election totally was stolen. I also want to point this out. I don't usually cover acts of violence very often, but just because the Republicans love to chirp about this kind of stuff, and you guys, when we bring up the fact that you guys seem to elicit a lot of violence coming from specifically gun violence, you don't listen to us. And every time one of these people on the right shows up and does some gun violence, it's weird. You go through their history and it's always kind of the same characters. It's Charlie Kirk, it's Tim Pool, it's Matt Walsh, it's Steven Crowder, it's Candace Owens. They all kind of listen to the same people. Why are they all getting so angry all the time? That is one thing that you'll see over on our side with violence. You don't usually see like a connection to the same three content creators. You don't usually see that at all.
So a student who knew the alleged FSU shooter, Phoenix Eichner, says that he was part of MAGA influencer Charlie Kirk's Turning Point chapter and that he was removed from a separate political club for espousing white supremacist and far-right rhetoric. Here's the video that MAGA doesn't want you to see.
I spent my first 2 years at Tallahassee, now called Tallahassee State College, but we called it TCC. And I was the president of a political talk group we called the Political Roundtable, and he joined the club when I was at TCC. Basically our only rule was no Nazis, colloquially speaking. And he espoused so much white supremacist rhetoric and far right rhetoric as well, to the point where we had to exercise that rule. I also know he was a member of the TCC Turning Point chapter. And since TCC, I have seen him in passing a couple times. Today, I was talking to a friend who had talked to him yesterday, or 2 days ago, pardon me, and he was talking about how he wasn't ready for exams.
To be clear, Reed, I just want to make sure that folks understand this. So you were a transfer student essentially into FSU, right? So you started the first 2 years in Tallahassee, and that is where you knew Phoenix Eichner, the suspected shooter here. And you say that he was essentially, it sounded like, kicked out of a political club that you were in because of his as you described them, views on white supremacy?
Yes, ma'am. So it wasn't necessarily a formal kicking out, but he was asked not to come back, and was really what had happened was we had, it was a debate back and forth. And after enough times, I mean, he did not feel welcome because he was not welcome with his rhetoric. We allow people of all, beliefs, creeds, whatever. And he somehow found a way to not fit the bill on everyone else.
So he's kicked out of this group, but Turning Point USA, no problem. We can be in part of Turning Point USA. Look, I understand that that this is not all Republicans. I don't think that most Republicans listening to Charlie Kirk will turn violent. But I will say this, that if you have if you have consistently people acting out that are violent, I do think it's at least fair to say maybe you need to look at some of your rhetoric. When you call people enemies of the people, when you say people are poisoning the blood, I think it's fair to criticize that. I think that's fair. If you're saying things that you can't validate, I think that's fair. I mean, what was he upset about here? From what I understand, I've only read parts of the manifesto. From what I understand from this is just another attempted but not everybody will agree with me, so I have to get rid of the people who won't agree with me. I think that's gross. I'll pull this up. Conor McGregor is running for, I don't remember what it is. It's not like it's not president. It might be president of Ireland. I can't remember exactly what it is. It's kind of a ceremonial role. I don't know why he's talking about it, but it's just another example of somebody who gets caught sexually abusing somebody and then suddenly becomes political, and suddenly their political stance is anti-immigrant and is homophobic. I'm going to admit, I was a massive Conor McGregor fan. Conor McGregor is I've watched mixed martial arts forever. The reason most people know about the UFC is because of Conor McGregor. He was a massive star. His story was cool. He's somebody who grew up on social welfare, quit his job, or not grew up on social welfare. He was on social welfare at the time he started training. Trained at a small gym in Ireland. Became a 2-time world champ in one organization. Then went to another world organization and became a 2 weight class champ over there as well. Created a legacy for himself, inspired a lot of people to fight. And honestly, watching him come up was pretty inspirational. But then he got a lot of money. He is pretty credibly connected to Irish gangs or mafia, whatever it is over there. A lot of bad moments for him once he kind of reached the peak. Once he lost to Khabib and after he fought Floyd Mayweather, it's been a rocky road. And it's been hard. It was hard to be a Conor McGregor fan after that. Impossible now. Now he's been found liable for sexual assault. He's been accused of sexual assault many, many times. And this is a person who's never been political. So I was surprised when I saw him around election time after Trump won. All of a sudden, Conor McGregor was at the White House. It was really bizarre. I didn't know why he was there. And all of a sudden, he was around like these political events. I for the life of me, couldn't figure it out. And then I saw him saying he was going to run for prime minister or president, whatever it is. Again, it's largely ceremonial. And why? And then he started talking about immigration and how those are the real evil people. It's just interesting to me how many times somebody gets caught being a sexual abuser and then they suddenly make a turn to the right. It always baffles me. Here's Conor McGregor on Tucker Carlson.
Why can't you run for president?
There's stipulations. You have to get 4 county councils which are controlled by the government parties, or you have to get 20 nominations of the Oireachtas, which are all mostly party affiliates.
So you can't just run for president?
You can't just run for president.
So how is it a democracy?
We are not a democratic country. And they'll have to answer to their constituents at some stage. There will be accountability.
Are you going to do it anyway? You're maybe the most famous living Irishman, and you're saying things that the overwhelming majority of your politicians will not say. What do you think they're going to do to you if you keep talking this way?
Attempt to tarnish as they are and move forward under God. And my nation can see.
You're really not afraid at all?
Not an iota. That is one of my issues here in Ireland and the people of Ireland, the overspending that's going on. This is our...
Sorry, that's going to get taken down because of the music. But yeah, notice the same thing. It's the immigrants. It's our public wealth. Refugees used to be housed in an Irish military camp. They're enriching people into private hands. Like people are bringing people here. They're poisoning our blood. It's the exact same rhetoric here. And here's Conor McGregor, not somebody who I would look to as a thought leader, but weirdly has sexual assault. Then all of a sudden he's political and he aligns himself with the right. I wanted to show an example I was unaware of, and I actually looked into allegations too, because yesterday I showed Andrew Callahan. I said,
Did
I was
you feel
a
a
big fan,
temptation?
and I think I said that he.
Did you feel a temptation?
Sorry, let me pause this. I think I said that he was like fired from his job. I didn't realize that there had been allegations against Andrew Callahan until I saw this video. Andrew Callahan was essentially, from what I can gather, was accused of using his position to coerce women into sexual acts or sending pictures, and so he was fired from his job. And that was a big. He apologized. He came out publicly. He said, like I was using fame. I didn't give any thought to it. I realize now, like, my actions were really wrong. Whatever it wants. If you want to forgive him or not, doesn't matter. This happened. What I thought was interesting about this video is Andrew Callahan, who a lot of people really liked from All Gas, No Brakes. He takes a lot of chances. He's not super politically correct. His move could have been a hard shift right, but listen to what he said here.
Your own belief system to maybe rebrand as like a anti-cancel culture guy?
Fuck no. Hell no, bro. No, dude, that's like the worst thing you can do. No, but like real shit, and I've never said this on a podcast, well, 1 week after getting canceled, I got a job offer from InfoWars.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's funny, like people always say,
good thing you didn't take it. They're doing so well now.
Right? But people always say, like, when you get canceled, like your career is over. No, it's the opportunity to begin a second career in like that sort of like free speech warrior space with like Russell Brand in them.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to do that because I'm not aligned with them in the way they talk and think about things.
Did you feel a temptation?
Yeah. A week after being canceled for sexual assault, right-wing organizations reached out to him and said, hey, we got a spot for you. Why is that? Why do you guys got so many sexual assaulters? I guess he wasn't not sexual assault. I don't know what you call that, coercion. I don't think he was charged or accused of sexual assault. Isn't that weird? Isn't that weird how that's who reaches out? It's always them. Because then what you get to do is you get to say, the protection is for these men, is you get to tell them when they get accused, you say, oh, they're just accusing me because I align with the right. And the right doesn't ever look at the timeline. Like when they look at Conor McGregor now, they're like, oh, he's just speaking the truth. That's why you hate him. No. People turned on Conor McGregor last year when he was found liable. The whole MMA community turned on him. And that's a very right-wing community. He's one of the most hated people in MMA now. He is not respected anymore. They turned on him, and then he took a shift political. Russell Brand was not this born-again Christian anti-vaxxer Trump supporter. He went from sexually assaulting women, getting caught, I think it was the Mirror, maybe it was the Mirror in London, I can't remember, exposed that he had sexually assaulted multiple people, and they had text messages of him admitting it. And then all of a sudden, he found God. And then all of a sudden, he found anti-vax. And all of a sudden, he was pro-Trump. Because they just want you to say what they want you to say. They want you to say that they're the victims. There's nobody that's more desperate to be a victim than the white Christian conservatives. That's all you want is to be a victim. It's like you wake up every day and you say, like, how can I be a victim today? Oh, we're gonna rally around a billionaire who is claiming he's a victim, and then he's gonna bring on his billionaire friend Elon, and we're gonna cry about him being a victim too. It's the whiniest, bitchiest group of people. At least on our side, like we talk about people being victimized, we talk about people being oppressed, but at least it's people who are oppressed. It's not me. Nobody on my side of the aisle says, Jay, you're oppressed. Like straight cis het white guy, like no. And if I said to the people on my side of the aisle, like I'm oppressed, every one of them would tell me to shut up. Nobody would deal with that for 1 second. It's amazing. Like you guys just find ways to be oppressed all the time. Anything happens to Russell Brand, you're like, that's me. It's both of us. So we're all this way. See, this is what we're talking about. You guys all think that we're the oppressors. Really, we're the oppressed ones. Because when we sexually assault women, you guys hold us accountable, and we don't like that very much. Johnny said, I'm not funny. I'll stop. All good. Johnny, we're having some big emotions today, bud. I love you. But we're having some big emotions today. What did you say, Jen? Want to plug announcements before we get to Friendly Friday? Yeah, we'll do that. Jen, we're going to go a little bit longer, though, because I want to play two more videos. Where are we at? Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. Yeah, so we have probably 25 minutes left before we get to Friendly Friday. If you're able to help us with that gift goal, that would be terrific. If not, please stick around for Friendly Friday. And if you're not in the Discord and you want to do Friendly Friday, it might be too late. But you can try to join the Discord now. Here's Elizabeth Warren. Elizabeth Warren has had enough of everybody's bullshit. One of the things that I was thinking when I was watching this is the right, because they're easily influenced by propaganda, they do go after the right people. The right will tell you that our smartest people are our dumbest. When we point to your dumbest people, we point to your dumbest. We never pick out your smartest people and say they're the dumbest. We're at least transparent about that. And it's always a woman. It's always a woman that they think is the dumbest. Somebody in here said like, oh, I'm going to listen to this guy. He thinks AOC's smart. She's fucking brilliant. Yeah, she's really fucking smart. And none of you could come up here and tell me why she's not smart. You just don't like her ideas. But Elizabeth Warren is really goddamn smart. Probably one of the top 5 smartest people in that hold political office on our side of the aisle. She's brilliant. She was a professor at Harvard, I believe, of economics. Here she is on CNBC, where these people sit in suits behind stock tickers, and so people think they're experts. Look how not expert they are.
First crack in the wall. McConnell, we got 4 Republicans who crossed the aisle that gave us a majority.
But it ultimately doesn't matter.
What do you mean it ultimately
Thanks,
doesn't
Jennifer.
matter? This is the law. I'm
Because
still
it didn't
kind of
change his
Constitution
policy.
101.
No, but he has the authority, ultimately.
Well, no, he does not. That's the whole point. He does not have the authority if Congress does not let him keep this authority. We can take
See how easy this is? There we go. Red fish, blue fish. See, they just say Pocahontas. Do you see how easily you are programmed? They give somebody a nickname, and I said, none of you will be able to tell me why she's not smart, and you just went with the nickname. You don't know. You have no idea if she's smart or not. You just know Trump doesn't like her and Trump calls her dumb. We're doing the same thing with the finger there. I forgot to add one piece of information here. What she's talking about is she's introduced that bill in the Senate that basically will take the power to impose tariffs away from the president, which Congress absolutely has the right to do. And they should do, because he doesn't know how to use them. He doesn't know what they are. This president should not have the ability to do tariffs.
this away.
Can
he
I
has
get you?
declared an emergency. That's what gives him the authority. Otherwise, it belongs to Congress. Instead of just mouthing off about what you think is happening, actually present some evidence. And let's look at the evidence. Let's let the other side come in and question that evidence. But you don't just get to lip off and say, and therefore the king gets to wave his magic wand and say, off with your head.
Doesn't the government
That is
determine
not
where
how it
federal
works in a
tax
democracy.
dollars go? And so they're allowed
Under
to
law.
decide.
Do you think they have a big bushel?
This guy has no fucking clue. I don't know who he is. He's just nodding into everything. They're saying two different things, and he's nodding the whole time. He has no clue what they're talking about. She's closer. She's closer.
Basket of money, and they just say, you good looking, you will have money. You not so good looking, you're going to have to go hungry for a while. That's not how it works. Let's just do Con Law 101, and that is Congress writes those laws and allocates that money. The administration.
This is look, you guys are just fucking dumb. I don't know what to tell you, MAGA. Trent, where's her evidence? She's not making a claim, you fucking idiot. She's not making a claim. Evidence of what? She's telling you her plan right now. Her plan is to use the legislative powers of the legislative branch to write law, which is what the legislative branch does to strip the powers from Donald Trump to do tariffs. Like, dude, you don't even know what you're hearing. That's what's crazy about you guys. Like, it's a knee-jerk reaction. Everything you say and do is just a knee-jerk reaction. Neither do you. Yeah, I'm rubber, you're glue. God damn, dude. Like, all you guys, Pocahontas, she didn't know that she was Native American? She's not dumb. You guys are just programmed. And I do think it's funny. I do think it's funny, but like, what evidence? She's just telling you what her plan is. Listen, bud, I know this is a woman speaking. I know that's tough. Like they speak in an octave that you don't hear, but just listen.
Allocates that money. The administration's job is to enforce those laws and spend that money the way the law tells them. And if they fail to do that, Part 3 is the courts are the ones who step in and enforce the law.
All right, I'm just going to roast all of you. All night empire. I'll say it again. AOC can't even run her district in New York, and we want her in a higher position of power. Guess what, motherfucker? She doesn't run her district in New York. I don't think you know what a congresswoman does. The local government, the state government, they run the state. She works in the federal government. Her job is to represent them on a federal level. She doesn't run it. None of you know what you're talking about. None. You can't even insult people in ways that make any fucking sense. Get it together, folks. I know that women trigger you. It's wild. It is wild how triggered you get when just somebody says something and you just start hurling insults. You don't even know how our government functions. This is why you vote for Trump, though. Because he just tells you shit and you believe it. You're like, oh, yeah, that's right. Congress says the purse strings 100% loyalty to Trump, but some of those MAGAs are waking up. That's true. That's absolutely true. I mean, guys, just think before you talk, please. If you don't know, I would just keep quiet. It's getting silly. All right. Now let me cover this real quick. This is Japanese Minister of Foreign Affairs Takeshi Iwaya. When you watch this video, I need you to know that his mouth movements aren't going to match. He was speaking in Japanese. Somebody used AI to translate, and this is an AI generated video. But you can go read the transcript and you can see that this is what he's saying. You can see down here the voice is dubbed from Japanese, so there's delays and there's little technical gaps. That's why this look was weird, because he wasn't speaking English. But I chose this video because I don't want you to have to read subtitles, and that's for you, MAGA. I know that reading is not your thing. So we're going to use the AI version that is translated to Japanese, but listen to what they have to say about Trump.
What the United States is saying is completely unreasonable. Their logic is all over the place, and there's no consistency at all. However, when Japan negotiates with what they are saying, to be frank, it's akin to being extorted by a delinquent. If Japan gives in,
Thanks, Amy Lynn.
thinking it's a negotiation,
Said if presidents could do what they wanted, we'd have health care, college paid for, and less poverty. Amen.
or a deal, and compromises on its position, it sets a bad precedent as a customary practice. If you give money to someone extorting you, they'll just come back to extort you again.
He said, don't feed the wild animals. It's not working. Did these guys look like they're about to cave to Trump? They're telling Trump to fuck off. No, sorry, dude. You can't extort us. We have leverage. You need us. Have fun driving Chevys. Have fun driving Fords. Say goodbye to Honda if we're going to do this. No, don't back down. He doesn't have leverage. He doesn't understand tariffs. Japan's fine. Japan will survive without us. We are an exporter of information. We are an importer of virtually everything else. The stuff that actually keeps us alive, the stuff that we need for our daily lives, most of that's imported. They have all the leverage. They can replicate. By the way, you want to end these trade deals? They'll just replicate all of our technology and they'll do it cheaper. They do not need us. We've for too long. If you were going to be a nationalist, and I understand you guys, you're just too late. You needed to do nationalism in the 80s. You're too late now. We didn't do nationalism. Everybody's way ahead of us now. Sorry, we're not doing it. We're doing global trade.
In the first place, even their equations are completely nonsensical. I wasn't good at math either, but if that equation appeared in a math test, it would definitely score 0. That's why, even though Minister Akazawa is serious and capable, there's a concern about whether it's okay for a serious person to handle this. Since they're not a straightforward opponent, they won't listen to straightforward reasoning. Even though all options were mentioned, you must...
It's like playing games with my daughter, or making deals with my daughter. She's 5, and she'll make a deal with me. Like, I'm like, all right, if I let you do this, you have to get in the bath as soon as we're done. She's like, all right, cool. And then we play, and then I'm like, all right, time to get in the bath. She's like, no, I don't want to get in the bath. She doesn't negotiate in good faith. Trump is a toddler. He doesn't negotiate in good faith. You should not enter a negotiation with somebody who's not going to enter that negotiation in good faith. They all recognize what all of us already know. Nobody should negotiate with Trump. One of the things that Louisiana dude said, Carville, one of the things he said that's like a little bit right is just let the Republicans do what they're going to do. The one part of that that's right is Trump is going to do what he's going to do, and he's going to do it no matter what. So don't capitulate. Don't give in, because he's not going to cut a deal with you. And even if he does cut a deal with you, he's going to go back on that deal. It's what he always does. Nobody wants to negotiate with him. Nobody wants to normalize this. And these countries aren't just looking for now. They're looking past Trump. If they fold now, forever the United States will say, like, Japan is a pushover. Nobody wants to be a pushover. And unfortunately for you guys, you voted for somebody too goddamn dumb to pull this off. You think that because he gets you to do anything that everybody else will do it too. Everybody hates him. Everybody hates him. He's Dudley. He's Dudley Dursley. He's got a couple friends, morons. You know, maybe he's more like Draco Malfoy because he's a Nepo baby. He's got a gang of morons that think everything he says is brilliant and everybody else in the world sees through him. Even when you bring over the other schools from Harry Potter, when you bring over they're never like, oh, wow, this Draco kid's really got it going on. They're like, let's ignore that guy. That's who Trump is. He's just he's a smart guy to dumb guys.
Never show compassion to an opponent who isn't straightforward. If you ease up on them, it will set a bad example.
One more thing. Just remember that the reason Trump pulled all his tariffs back is because Japan called his bluff. Japan holds a bunch of treasury bonds, and Japan started unloading those treasury bonds. And Trump administration people came running to Trump in the middle of the night, like, dude, it's gonna fuck. We're fucked. If they start unloading treasury bonds like this, we are fucked.
I hope we absolutely do not give in to America's extortion. This may sound harsh, but it really is extortion. If we comply with this, it will truly set a bad example. Truly. Minister Iwata, I know you might not have much time, but
here's another dummy. Culture is not your friend. You actually believe what China says? They've been ripping off America for decades, and because of their country has been lifted up from selling their stuff here with very little tariffs. This is Japan, you fucking idiot. This is Japan. It's a different country. I know that maybe you think all Asians are Chinese. This is Japan. This is Japan. Try and keep up, sweetheart.
But I highly recommend watching the documentary about Roy Cohn, the lawyer who mentored him, and the documentary about Mr. Trump. By watching those, I hope you can gain some insight into what kind of person Mr. Trump is.
You think Trump froze the bond market? They tried that, and Trump froze the bond market. No, they did sell bonds. They sold treasury bonds, and they threatened to sell more. You think Trump froze it? No, he backed down. He said, never mind, no tariffs. Never mind, no tariffs. God damn, you guys are amazing. Who told you that? Hey, could somebody please push the freeze on the treasury bonds? I know that people buy treasuries from us, but we can just pause that. You think countries are buying treasury bonds knowing that if they try and sell it, that the president can just be like, bro, get it together.
When you watch it, you really get a sense of, oh, this is the kind of person he is. During the tariff review, he was so relaxed that he went to his own golf course. It wasn't a decision made after much deliberation. He's really mocking the world. Well, you know, Minister Akazawa is a serious person, and Minister Iwaya is also a serious person. So if you approach that person seriously, you'll definitely just get taken advantage of. I believe that Minister Iwaya was quite spirited in his younger days, and I hope he remembers that. Even now, Minister Iwaya is full of energy, and I urge him to demonstrate that spirited nature in negotiations with the United States and to promise not to yield to any extortion. With that, I conclude my questions. Thank you very much.
Let me see if I can find this video. Whoever that was that said pause the bond market reminded me of this. Let's see if I can find this. I'm gonna find this video. Yippee! Jen, do you want to read some comments while I'm looking for this? Do we have you, Jen? Jen?
Yeah, sorry.
There we are.
Switching. Yeah, sorry. Switching. Okay, I was trying to mute things, and anyways, so we've got where did we leave off?
Isn't it weird? I found it. We can do it real quick. Sorry.
You want me to read them? You want to do it?
Yeah, go ahead, read them. That's good. Good plan.
Jose, I'm guessing Jose says I love Pocahontas. Sorry, Jen. I don't know what that is. How?
I'm glad that they're sorry. That's good.
Okay. Amy said if presidents could do this, I think you said read this one. We'd have healthcare, college paid for, and less poverty. Lorraine said have the best weekend to my favorite people. Happy Easter if that's your thing. Amy said Trump took us out of the TPP trade agreement Obama put in. Now Trump is begging to get the deal back. Tony said why are they so blindly dumb? And then McScott said troglodytes for Trump.
That's beautiful. Did I miss any Venmos?
I read them.
Okay, you got one. All right, here's the video I was talking about when that person said pause the bond market. This is who's this guy?
Isn't it weird how we made almost everything up and it still sucks? Isn't that crazy? Like, you know, they turn the stock market off every night and they turn it back on every morning. And they're like, we're in a bubble. It's gonna burst. It's bound to happen any day now. It's like, then leave it off. What the f are you doing turning it back off? Today might be the day. Fucking idiots. They're like, the dollar's down, the economy's. It's like, why don't we just say it's not?
That's literally Trump's strategy. He just, no, it's not. Everything's fine.
Sound. Right? They're like, these people have all the money. These people have no money. It's like, print more. Give it to them. They go, we can't. It will devalue the currency. Just say it doesn't. Everything is made up. Let's make it more fun. Let's base interest rates on how interesting you are as an individual. Right? You show up to a bank, you do a backflip, they're like, you got a mortgage! Anything else? You do a handstand, they're like, your student debts are forgiven!
I like the Republicans. Somebody said somebody was upsetty spaghetti. We were making fun of you. That wasn't our proof. That was the same thing your guy was saying. No, Trump turned it off. He turned off the bonds. They didn't know. Trump had the switch and he turned it off before they could sell them. 4D chess, bitches. That's good answers. All right. You ready for friendlies?
In a minute. So Amy Lynn said countries from around the world are making deals with each other and cutting us out. He's screwing us. I know. I think I've sent you this guy's videos. This guy is my absolute favorite. I sent you the link when you were talking about podcasts earlier. This video is so funny.
All right, let's see.
Walked in on Elon, Musk and Jeff doing. You won't believe this. Honestly, I am so sickened and angry and scared that I don't even think I can use my mouth to say it. It just feels so wrong. Okay, so apparently it was Elon's idea. Yep, no surprises there. And he went up to sweet baby moron Mark and Eggy Jeff, and he looked them both dead in the eye, and he was like, we should start a podcast. Yes, I know this is incredibly serious. That's why I'm calling you. I left them for like a second, okay? I was crushing up some apples for them to have for lunch. Before I know it, when I got back to the playpen, Jeff had gotten 3 microphones from one of his warehouses, and Elon was saying things like, so how many push-ups do you guys do? We're so funny. I'm telling you, man, this is all because of the stocks. This is the tariffs, man. Or they're losing so much money that they're sort of going loopy and they're having to turn to podcasts. I mean, it's only a matter of time before they put this thing out into the wild. They're calling the podcast Elon, Musk, Jeff, and Elon. That's all their names together with no spaces, but Elon insisted having his in there twice. Yes, of course, I've confiscated the microphones and destroyed the files. If that thing ever got out, it'd be like the Spanish flu. I think it would just destroy mankind. Do you want to know what I just walked in on Elon, Musk and Jeff doing?
I've seen that guy before. I love that. That's beautiful. All right, we got Friendly Fridays ready. Let me hop in that other chat over there.
Oh, I'll drag it up. So his name on TikTok is Mr. Cody Dollar. It's the last name. So it's Cody, Cody. Last name is spelled Dahler. He has a whole, like, I've sent you his videos before, but you probably haven't seen them. He's like their babysitter, more or less. And so he has a fondness for baby Moore and Mark Zuckerberg. And Eggy Jeff is Jeff Bezos. And then his Elon impressions are hilarious.
Send them to me again. Sorry, I probably didn't watch them.
Yeah, they're super funny. But so we'll go over to the general chat. Looks like it's starting to fill up.
All right, sounds good. All right, everybody, it's Friendly Friday now. If you're new here, this is the time when people who are friendly to me show up. And so if you hate me and you hate that people are going to say nice things to me, you might want to bounce. This isn't really for you. You can stick around, Nazis, if you'd like, but this isn't really for you. So do whatever you want to do. All right, Jen, who's first?
I'm just going to start from the top and go from there. So, Cam.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey. It's good.
So
Cam.
I gotta just check in with you again one more time. You don't get a third chance. Are you willing to support the Pistons in their playoff run? Because you're in.
Let me look. Can I pick just in the West? Or I mean in the East? Because in the West, I'm gonna be supporting Stephanie Curry. Let's see.
Are you? Why?
Oh, I love Steph Curry. He's my favorite player.
Okay. I mean, he's great. No, don't get me wrong, but
who you guys playing? Who do you got first round?
we're playing the Knicks.
Yeah, I don't like the Knicks. I got you against the Knicks.
All right.
I'm probably gonna be pulling for the Pacers, but you guys can be second.
Yeah, Pacers are tough. They are tough. I will say that. But anyway, yeah, I just had to make the case because, Cade Cunningham had a stellar season this year, and so we appreciate your support.
Yeah, I don't even know who's on your team. I'm looking. You guys are still paying Tobias Harris getting way too much money. All right.
Yeah, he's doing a good job this year.
All right.
Having a good season.
We'll see. When do they? When does it start? When do they play? Saturday?
Tomorrow.
Are there games?
Yep.
Are there games tonight too? Or does it all start tomorrow?
There's games tonight. Yep, the last of the play-in.
Oh, so we got Dallas and Memphis tonight, and Miami, Atlanta. All right. I used to be a Dallas fan, but sorry, Dallas.
I know, that's why I had to ask you, because I knew you were a free agent.
Yeah.
So.
Well, think about it. I'll watch them. I haven't watched them, so maybe I'll become a fan. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Give them a look in the playoffs. They're a nice team. They're a good story too right now.
I love that. All right, brother.
All right, take care.
Bye. All right, who's next?
The other Cam. Did you update
the bad Cam?
Yeah, the bad Cam. Did you update the total number? So while we're doing Friendly Fridays, if you guys want to help knock out the rest of the gift goal, we wouldn't complain.
Do you have an updated? Is your number the last one you sent me correct?
Let's see. The last one I sent you. I'll do a new total. I'll drop it in just a second.
Cool. There's nothing on my end, so whatever you have is right. What's up, Cam?
I just think it's key. You guys are worried about all those different teams when we know Luka's going to just blow through everything this year.
Yeah, I'm going to root for Luka too. Like I hate that if the Lakers win that the Lakers win, because I don't want good things to happen for LeBron, but I'll still root for Luka. I love Luka.
Yeah, same here. So in all fairness, I got into basketball probably 2 months ago. Not to do with the trade, but after that, I just decided to finally start paying attention, and now I've got into the sport very late. But yeah, so this is my first year. I'm excited.
Yeah, he's about to go on a revenge tour, and it's going to be ugly.
Oh yeah, it's. Did you see him play at Dallas last week?
That was awesome. That was so awesome.
That was great.
Yeah.
So, but how's everything else been, man?
No.
I figured it was a good day since you're
no,
you're in that space.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, you're the perfect space for it. Come on.
I love you very much.
All right. Well, anyways, I'll get going early, but make sure we all know. Everybody tell Jen how much we love her.
That's right.
She's amazing, and she's the best ever, and she's awesome, and she's the glue that keeps RTP.
There it is. I was waiting for that. All right, who's next?
I was multitasking. I couldn't get to it fast enough. It's Devo.
Devo, hey.
How are you?
Wonderful. Happy Friday to you.
Things are going well for you?
Yep, really good. Thank you.
Trying to make you uncomfortable.
You're doing it. You're doing a great job.
So I, as I've said before, being a Buffalo fan, I live about 3 minutes from Canada. Very big international attraction called Niagara Falls, and we've been seeing stories and stuff. But I don't know if I talked this last time I was on about how just the downfall of Canadians that are coming here to do anything at all. I think I might have talked about it previously, but I'm a big fan of Mumford and Sons, and they're going on tour. And I have a bunch of friends from Canada. They are purposely not going to shows in the U.S.
You're breaking up pretty bad. I'm having a hard time understanding you. I think we might have lost you. Let's just go to who's next, and if your connection returns,
Okay.
come back. Who's next?
Yeah, Swish.
Hey, Swish.
Hello, Double Daddy.
Hello. Hello.
Happy Friendly Friday.
Happy Friendly Friday.
Sister Wife 69 reporting for duty, sir.
It's good to have you here.
Thank you so much. It's good to see you here. I echo the sentiment of those who said we really understand how much we need you when you're not here. So,
thank you.
I'm glad you had some time away, and definitely glad you were back. So, listen. First, I want to say real quick, I caught you in Liv's on Liv's panel yesterday, and that I stayed there for quite some time. It was really, really good. It was a great room, great panel. I particularly enjoyed the perfect storm of you being on top, ahead in coin,
I hated
and
that.
thus, according to the chat, colonizing the platform. I knew that was so
devastating.
uncomfortable for you.
Yeah.
No.
Devastating.
I know you were so devastated. And then the more you were devastated, the more they were gifting you. And I was like, oh, this is not going to end well. So when he finally changed the format of the boxes, I felt a little relief for you. So I just wanted to say that.
Thank you.
You were saying you're welcome. You were saying you were having some issues with math today because you're medicated, not medicated, remedicated. And I'm not great at math either, but I know that 2025 is an odd year.
It's true.
Am I right?
That is an odd year. One of the oddest, as some say.
One of the oddest.
Yeah.
Absolutely right.
That's
And,
mathematically correct.
Thank you. I appreciate the validation, the cosign. And, people don't understand dad jokes, and they don't even know when a joke becomes a dad joke, which is obviously when the punchline becomes apparent. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta go. You gotta go.
Do I know?
Yeah, you gotta go. You can't do two. You can't go back to back. Get out of here.
All right.
It's
I
okay.
love
He
you
would
so
know how to
much.
kick you anyway,
See ya.
so I guess
Bye,
you can
Swish.
laugh for the last 7 seconds.
Have a good weekend.
You guys have a good one.
You
Bye.
too. Bye.
Bye.
Hopefully, I'm in the cookout. Liv already told me I was invited. I'm bringing the pasta.
No, he
I'm
didn't.
bringing the
He
pasta
didn't
salad.
say that.
I'm bringing the. Ask
Don't
him.
say that. You're gonna get us white people in trouble.
No, he told me that. He did say that.
You're just making shit up now.
No,
Anyways.
I'm there.
Devo, are you back?
Can you hear me better?
Not really. It's pretty bad.
Hang on. Sorry.
That's all right. We still love you. Come back next week.
Is that better?
Oh, that's better.
that's better.
Yeah.
Okay, it was on my Bluetooth. That's why. Yeah. So, anyways, I totally lost my train of thought apparently. But what I wanted to bring up was I know you didn't cover it today, but I'm sure you saw it was Trump's comments in the Oval Office on the Florida State shooting.
Yeah, he said something like, this kind of stuff happens, right? Is that what he said?
Yeah, he basically, while I was sitting here, I was trying to find the exact. Oh, he said, "I'm a big advocate of the Second Amendment. I have been from the beginning," and that's the first thing he said.
Stupid.
And then he said, "These things are terrible, but the gun doesn't do the shooting; the people do." A phrase that's used probably too often. Yeah. Then he goes, "It's a shame. I'm just hearing about it now."
Which is whenever he says, "I'm just hearing about something now," that means he knew about it before.
And then he says, "This has been going on for a long time. I have an obligation to protect the Second Amendment. I ran on the Second Amendment, among other things, and will always protect the Second Amendment." And that just made me absolutely sick to my stomach, that the first thing he had to say was that he was protecting the Second Amendment and not thoughts and prayers or whatever it was. And I already detest the man, but that to me was just like the ultimate. I didn't know he could be more disgusting, and then he says things like that.
Yeah, I mean, part of that's politics, but then again, it's like his inability to even feign empathy or sympathy. Like, he doesn't even know how to do it.
Or at least do it the opposite way.
Sure.
I've heard this is horrible. We're giving all the support that we can. I know the Second Amendment is, there's but he's an idiot. He doesn't know how to articulate. Like, he could have said that same thing in totally different words. So I know you didn't cover it, but I figured you would see it. But it just, every day I just go, he can't say anything more stupid. And then there he is.
That he shows
So-
back up. Yeah.
All right, well, Jen, kick me. Have a good weekend.
See ya.
Bye. Thanks. All right. Q.
Hey, what's up? Happy Friendly Friday.
Happy Friendly Friday.
Awesome. Hey, just out of curiosity, are there any potential? Do you ever have any spots where you're going to be going to like live events, like TwitchCon and stuff like that, where people could actually do meets?
I haven't even thought of it.
Okay.
There is some. I'll say I don't want to say anything because I don't know if it's up. There might be something in LA coming up.
Okay.
I'm open
Put it
to
in the back of your mind, if nothing else.
Yeah, I'm open to it. I'm just not like much of a planner. That would probably be being invited, or I'm probably not going to plan that out. But if you hear of stuff, let me know. I'd be happy to travel around and meet people. That'd be really fun. I'd love that.
And then just keep in mind that ultimately you will not get Jan barred from the barbecue. She's always invited. I'm scared about the potato salad.
No, macaroni,
I know
pasta
better.
salad. What did I say? Macaroni, not potato
You
salad.
said pasta salad.
Pasta salad. Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm concerned about the potential that we may end up as Cuba, not in a true embargo that's held up by other military sources, but that all the other countries may just say, yeah, forget them, just skip them. And then my biggest question for you really is the other 2 nights ago when you were on with Admir, that younger kid Clayton came on towards the end, and then you displayed it again tonight. How do you always know that these guys are the Nazis? Like, I like listening. I'm like, these guys are just lost. They don't have an argument. Sure. But you just pin them down like right away. You know, so soon before their argument, they drop the facade.
It's like anytime there's certain things that people say, like if you've heard of the JQ, like the Jewish question. Nazis will never say that they're Nazis, but they will allude to things that like the how do I say this? Like they'll say, like they'll blame a problem on a particular group of people, or they'll allude to it, right? They'll be like, yeah, like, I don't know, I don't like what Hitler did, but like there was a real problem there. Like he did identify a real problem, and then you're like, boom, that's what it is. They'll look for ways to say they don't support Hitler, but then they'll justify something that he did, and generally that something that he did is going to be culturally related, or like it's going to be related to. Like the guy said today, it was something about like the depravity or whatever. They'll use words like that. That I don't know. I've just listened to a lot of Nazis. I think that's mostly what it is.
All right. It just always caught me. I don't want to go over too much. Thank you. Have a great week.
Yeah, you too.
And Jen, I was really excited when you turned your camera on.
Oh, Jen, you have anything to say to that? Jen,
She doesn't. Stop it.
Hey, Jen.
She's blushing. I can feel it. I'm happy. All right, I gotta go.
Go ahead.
Pizza for breakfast.
Were you done with
I-
everything you
I
wanted to
just
say?
did it.
You were done?
I sent you the updated total.
Okay. Thank you. Pizza for breakfast. Hey.
Hey Jay, how's it going?
Good, man. How are you?
Good. It's actually kind of embarrassing because I was on Discord and I was just like, "Oh, people are live," and I totally forgot that it was Friendly Friday. It's like I just lined up for the women's bathroom because it was a line.
Yeah.
No, I'm glad that you're doing well.
Thank you.
But also as a Canadian, kind of fuck you, I guess.
I hear you.
But for the women's bathroom, it was a line. Oh, yeah.
Someone's got an echo.
Charles, mute your mic, please.
Yes. Sorry.
You're good.
I was curious where, because I'm not attuned to your politics, where are they on like the congressional budget in terms of like cutting taxes and everything? Have they done that? Are they doing that? Is it about to happen?
Passed the House, hasn't passed the Senate yet. I don't think it's going to pass the Senate. I can't imagine it passes the Senate.
Yeah, because like there's a lot of turmoil right now, and I just like, do you envision them cutting corporate taxes at all?
Potentially, I could see a way like in the Senate. I think they could negotiate it. There are a lot, there are a lot of people on both sides of the aisle. There's enough Democrats that I think they could probably get 10 to 12 votes and cut the corporate tax rate. But it's going to come at the expense of a negotiation, and I don't know what the conservatives would be willing to back down on. Everything in their bill. I mean, I would actually kind of be okay with it if they did something about the Pentagon, but then Trump wants another $200 billion in Pentagon spending. So I don't know, honestly. I don't know what they're even going to do.
Yeah. It's kind of a scary time, just like, because who knows if they're going to cut like medical, social services, all these kind of things, right? So
yeah,
I was just kind of curious where they were with all that.
I don't know. I haven't heard much from anybody in the Senate, so I'm not sure. I've been a little preoccupied with a million other fucking bullshit things that these guys are doing, I think.
Yeah, your country has problems, but I love you guys, and hope you're well, and keep fighting the good fight.
Save us a place on the couch. We might need it.
Always.
Thanks.
Always.
Thanks, brother. See it. All right, who's next?
All right.
Kurt said,
JT.
shout out to son brother Bob for turning me on to y'all. And Beth said, reminder for Trump supporters, our soldiers are willing to die for our country. The least you can do is research for it. Jay, keep up the amazing work. You guys are awesome. Thank you. All right, who'd you say was next?
JT.
Hey, JT.
Jay, how is my God-fearing countryman?
God-fearing as ever, my friend.
Oh, love to hear yeehaw. Anyways, so yesterday I remember you asking a question, during your live, and you asked the chat, or specifically the Republicans in your chat, what has the right ever done that was correct? Do you remember that?
No, but that sounds like something I said.
Okay, yeah. Well, you said it. I promise. I have the facts.
I believe it.
And that got me thinking, and it brought me back to a time when I would always scroll through MAGA lives on TikTok, right? And I remember that question actually came up in one of the lives, and I saw all their half brain cells working together because of the full panel, right?
Ooh.
I remember one person said, "The right is always right because we are the right."
That's hard to
and
argue.
I was like, you know what?
I mean, that's
I
hard
was like, you know what?
logic to argue.
It is, and I blame myself for ever getting a phone. So that's my fault.
Fuck the internet. What's it doing to us?
Subject myself to that shit. So, anyways, yeah, I just wanted to say happy Friendly Friday, and you guys do a great job. So,
thank you.
Keep it up.
Appreciate it.
All right.
See you, brother.
Peace and love.
All right, who's next?
All right. Katrina.
Did you say me? Yay.
Yes.
Hi.
Hey.
Happy Friendly Friday.
It's the friendliest of Fridays. Happy Friendly Friday.
Okay, sister wife here. Okay, so I have a couple of questions for you. Well, not questions,
Yes,
but
ma'am.
actual things. So you remember you told, Jen shared about Admir, about the ticket that he got?
Yeah.
The way that I laughed, because I remember actually seeing him eat that rotisserie on a live, and I totally understood why he got a ticket.
Yeah. It was devastating when I found out it wasn't real.
Yeah.
Because he was like eating it in a way that
he was eating the ass of the chicken.
Yes, it was very
starting from the
inappropriate.
ass up.
He deserved the ticket for that. But it's just, I totally got it. But I just wanted to tell you that. And then also, secondly, you will always be invited to the cookout because I think it's like 3-4 million Black women that want you. So
That'd be dope. Did you talk to Jasmine?
Yeah.
Is Jasmine coming?
Of course.
All right,
And
I'll be there.
Speaking of eating, you said you were an eater. How do you do it? Like, how do you initiate, if you don't mind talking about it? Because me and Bree would love to know.
I would just refer. Refer to you of. We have replays on YouTube. Just go replay Admir eating that chicken.
Oh, so you do it that way?
Yeah,
Okay,
it's messy.
So you're most definitely invited.
It's
Got
messy.
it.
Yeah.
Okay. And I just wanted to tell you we love you.
Love you.
And Jen, drop me. Love you guys and continue doing what you do.
Thank you. Who's next?
We got Emma.
You cut out. Who'd you say?
Anima.
Anima. Hey.
Aesthetic.
Hey, folks, hate you both, as you know.
Thank you.
I am here to. I'm so glad nobody stole my thunder this time. Tomorrow, Saturday, April 19th, is another 50-51 protest.
Oh shit!
They are trying to get the prerequisite 3.5% of the populace. That's 11 or 12 million people. But we all know how many we got last time on April 5th.
I don't remember how many. It was how many?
5.2 million.
5.2.
We're almost halfway there, folks, and we're only a couple months in here.
Let's
well,
see.
almost 3 now.
I'll pull this up here. Is it in all 50 states again?
Correct. Yeah, the 50-51 is 50 protests, 50 states, one movement.
Where's the map? Here's the
And
map.
you can go to 50.1, spelled out numbers, 50, period 1.
I'm there. Looks like we've got. Do we not have one in Arizona? Oh, there they are. Let's see.
What I say, Jay? It's all 50 states.
That's what I was saying. I just didn't see it. We got a Let's Change Climate Change and a National Day of Action protest coinciding. All right.
Dan, you're not on the timer today.
What's that?
I mean, no time. Damn it! I have 4 more points. I said Jen's not on the timer today. So,
I realized that. So I'll give you a minute more. How about that?
I wanted to point out, I posted in the news, let's see, what's it called? The Current News Stories channel on Discord. Everybody join Discord, please. The real reason El Salvador's president Nayib Bukele cozied up to Trump. They're saying there's a connection between Bukele and MS-13. I don't know if you've heard about that, but I heard it from Change the System on TikTok.
Okay.
I want to shout her out. I posted her video there too, if you want to use that if you talk about it. It's just like with the Israeli government and Moss. So is what it sounds like. This is a Mother Jones post from El Faro, is the foreign news station that reported on it. Obviously you need to vet it first, but I posted that in there. So
I see it. I've got it added to my list. We're good.
I only got 20 seconds. Did you say you bore witness to right-wing politicians doing coke in Liv's Live yesterday?
I have seen that. Yeah, I have seen that. But it's not anybody that you guys would know.
I hope you posted the clip.
It's not anybody you would know, though. It was state level.
Did you ever inhale, Jay?
I have never done that particular substance. I was never offered
Let's
it.
be honest. There's so many people who've done that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a. To me, it's not a gotcha by any means.
The 80s was a time.
Yeah, I'm not telling
you. The 2020s have been times too.
And then Jen, people can still hate you even though you were a harlot in high school.
That's right.
I mean, that's fair. It's fair. Those shoulders. So.
All right. Well, thanks.
All right.
There's the 0. Who's next?
Mama.
Hey.
This is Marlene.
Oh, hey, Marlene.
Nurse Marlene.
What?
Nurse Bachhold?
Yeah. No, I know who you. Yeah, sorry.
Oh,
I'm with you. I know who you are.
I
Yeah.
didn't know if you. Cool. So I would just like to pile on to RFK Jr. in his horrific words that he said earlier.
Good.
Autism is not a disease. It's not something that we need to stamp out or anything like that. We need to embrace it and realize that the different ways of learning are different ways of learning and maximize those ways of learning.
Yeah.
Also, autism has been proven not to be caused by vaccines of any sort.
Like a million times, too.
Well, the original research study was done by somebody who had invented his own vaccine and wanted to discredit the current ones, had 8 people in his N, so it was a tiny study, and it was full of bias, and it was published in the British Journal of Medicine, and since then they have not only taken it off of their website, but they've also removed it from their archives and discredited it because it should never have been published in the first place because it was bad science.
Yeah. I've tried to find the studies. Like, this isn't even one of those things that is like there's like a both sides. Like, one side has good scientific data and the other doesn't. That does happen from like a lot of times. This isn't one of those instances. You have stories and anecdotes versus like double-blind placebo studies.
Yes.
It's crazy. Cool country we've got going on here.
And the fact that he has the highest health office in the land just makes me want to punch my wall.
I think you might want to maybe punch your neighbor's wall or something. I don't know. I've been wrecking some pillows in my house. I've been really going after it. I shouldn't have said.
My neighbors are doing
clip that.
construction.
Is your neighbor a Trump supporter? You can punch your neighbor.
Help with their demo.
Yeah, there you go. That'd be perfect.
Hey guys, love you. Kick
Love
me.
you. Thanks, Marlene. See ya.
All right, bye. Charles?
Charles! What's up, brother?
Charles?
Okay, I could get it unmuted. Hey, better pillows than couches, Jay. Better pillows than couches. Don't wreck them couches. Save those for JD Vance.
I knew somebody was going to catch that. As I said it, I was like, fuck.
My duck coop last night, eating my duck eggs.
Oh, damn. What kind of snake is it?
It was a rat snake. It's a rat snake, and I don't usually like killing snakes, but unless they're rattlesnakes or something, I'll kill rattlesnakes. I don't like killing rat snakes, but eggs are too expensive, and I can't let them start eating my eggs.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, right. Second thing is I'm going to add on to the RFK thing. My wife is an occupational therapist that works with autistic kids. And I also worked at the school. It's a residential school for autistic kids. I also used to work there. I worked there for a few years and got to work with a bunch of the autistic kids. And they do go on dates and they do get married and they do work jobs. And that's what the OTs help them do is train for life after that. It breaks my heart that people think like that. You know what I mean? I get my wife comes home every day and tells me, what she does and how she helps the kids and all that stuff, and it just, it blows. It's hard to blow my mind with the country the way it is right now.
Yeah, it's interesting how often we look back on history. It's some of the most remarkable people in history, and like it's fairly clear now that a lot of those people had autism, right? We just didn't diagnose it, and like some of the most incredible things we've ever done are people with autism. It's a gift.
And there is I know I'm running out of time. There is a thing on Audible. It's a book that someone wrote and I'll drop it in the Discord. It's a book that someone wrote about that maybe like telepathy or something. Like some of these autistic kids can read their parents' mind, read their minds.
Yeah.
I mean, it's I listen to some of these books and it's like I'm a believer, with some of the stuff that they're, that's coming out like that. And these kids are incredible, and I can't believe that people believe stuff like RFK is saying.
Devastating.
My wife she would go down to Nogales, Mexico when we lived in Tucson. She would go down to Nogales and help the kids down there that couldn't get treatment. She would go once or twice a month and donate her time down there. And I keep telling her all the time, I sure would love to move back to Tucson.
Hey, come on back. We're 50th.
Hey, man,
we're 50th in
We
education.
do, I'll definitely be up there to play golf with you, man.
Please do.
One more thing, I know I'm out of time. They done an art show. These autistic kids do an art show once a year in downtown Wichita, and some of the art that these kids put out is like incredible. I can't even believe it.
You live in Wichita? I love Wichita. I like Wichita.
It's
like low-key a cool place.
The reason I moved to Kansas because I got my pilot's license, and they say it's the aviation capital of the world. So I moved here to get my pilot's license. I really enjoy it, but I sure did like Tucson. I love all the mountains around me, and being able to go to Mexico a couple times a year was wonderful.
Yeah, Tucson's cool. Very underrated part of Arizona. I'd like to move to Tucson.
Definitely. Right on. Well, thanks for everything you do, man.
Thanks, brother.
I listen every day when I can, and I enjoy your stuff.
I appreciate all your support. You've been great. Thank you so much.
All right, man. Take care.
We'll see it. All right, who's next?
I love you. Stop asking.
All right, I'll stop asking.
Mhm.
Hang on one second. Let me turn my Bluetooth off.
So while you're doing that, I have to do my almost daily statement. Chat, people in the chat, they're saying that we're not a democracy. A constitutional republic is a type of democracy, like a Toyota is a type of vehicle.
That's true. Both of those are true.
So, just so you know. All right. Did your Bluetooth off?
They sucks.
That's right. Thank you.
Every day.
There you go.
Hey.
Bluetooth is off, and that was what the whole problem was the whole time. Is just all of my Bluetooth suck, or maybe who knows. Okay, so you suck, and yeah, I just wanted to say, fuck it. Just fuck it all.
I mean,
we went to the protest last week, and I have this list of names for Trump, like the Melon Felon and Velveeta Voldemort, etc.
Ooh, I like that one. That's new.
Oh, I have a list. It's like between 60 and 80 names. There's a bunch. I'll DM it to you.
Yeah, I do.
And I let my son choose. So his sign said F Elon and the screaming carrot demon.
I love it. Send that to me too.
I will.
All
I'll
right.
send you a picture of us with our sign.
Thank you so much. Have a good weekend.
So anyway, we love you, even though you suck.
Thank you. Thank you. That's appreciated. See ya.
We'll talk to you next week.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. All right. Who's next?
Aviation.
Hey.
Hey. As always, thank you for the week's news and keeping us kind of focused on the stuff that isn't just the noise that we're getting flooded with.
Thank you.
I feel like you and the team do a really good job of getting into some of the stuff that not a lot of people are being distracted by. So I appreciate that.
Oh, that's good to hear. Thank you.
Something I wanted to draw your attention to is Dad Chats did another video breaking down the SAVE Act. And
is that the one where the mom and the dad disagreed? Did I see that one?
No, this is you've done a couple of his videos before.
No, I'm saying I know which
attorney.
one. I know which one you're talking about. Did the mom and the oh no, it was about immigration they disagreed on. Never mind.
Yeah.
Okay, keep going. Sorry.
Okay, good. So, and he breaks down how yes, this is going to disenfranchise 80% of women and hurt Republicans the most. He said, but if you look at what this law actually does, at the end of the day, it's giving states a list of IDs that the federal government is telling them to put immigration status on. He said, and now that's a problem because that's a question you don't have to answer when the cops ask you your immigration status.
Right.
But now they've asked for your ID and you're in a state you have to give them your ID. You just answered a question you previously didn't have to answer.
Right, and this is why Sheriff Joe was a felon, because he tried to do this in Arizona. The courts ruled against him, and then Trump pardoned him. Like, we've actually tried this. Many states have tried this before. This is what's like. There's already precedent on this. This one's not even like a new one. We have precedent on this ruling. The Supreme Court's ruled on this. So if they rule in Trump's favor, I think that's a good sign that, like, okay, they've just said fuck it, because this exact same Supreme Court basically has already ruled on this.
Yeah. But it's just everyone's talking about the women losing their vote, which is still which would still be a part of it, even though it's not going to pass the Senate. But he said the other thing to watch out for is, hey, they're giving the states a reason to put this on your documentation. Watch out for that.
Right. Yeah, they're introducing stuff in Arizona already. Yeah.
Yeah, that's just dumb. Right. I hate it here.
Well, thanks. Bro. Yeah, have a good weekend.
You too.
See it.
Mama
Rara.
You're muted.
There we go.
I swear to God, half the time this won't let me unmute.
We're gonna hear you now.
Awesome. Okay, so I feel like neurodivergency has been the topic of conversation for like everyone everywhere this week.
Yeah.
So I wanted to bring up a couple things. Obviously, talked about how my son is neurodivergent, has ADHD, autism, things like that. So I think it's important for people to understand that a lot of the conversations and relationships that we have with our parents, who are probably undiagnosed as well, are greatly impacting the relationships that we have with them now that we're adults.
Yeah.
So my husband was asking me, like, hey, do you think that your parents are, neurodivergent, autistic, things like that? And I was like, yes, absolutely, 100%. And he goes, okay, so if they would have gotten the support that you give our child, do you think you would have a different relationship with them? And I was like, oh shit. Yeah.
Far more honest. It would be it's more honest, yeah.
Yeah. And because they're not trying to mask and hide everything. Because like I use my spidey sense, and I swear to God, I can like pinpoint a person in a crowd that is like the worst person.
Yeah. I can't.
It's crazy.
I can't do that. I miss that's one I miss. That's why Jen's around.
Jen's probably amazing at that too.
Yeah,
I'm
she'll
sure.
sniff them out.
I was half listening. Sorry, I didn't hear what.
Just
what,
say
what are you? What are you
your
talking
job.
about?
Your job is to make sure that you keep me away from bad people because I have bad judgment.
I still can't do it. This is dealing with Jay often is like herding cats.
I've been
It's
doing
almost-
great. I haven't.
You're better.
I mean, I've
but
had bad.
still.
Except when you're unmedicated.
I guess we've had back-to-back
more fun.
Nazis on the show, so maybe not. Maybe I'm not doing
I
great.
mean, I'm offering to bring them up, but it's whatever. So, I mean, they showed themselves pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So.
Great. Well, have a great weekend. And also, if my voice and tone don't say something, my face will definitely scream it for you guys.
Thank you.
Exactly.
All right.
See ya.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye. Bowsy.
Hey, Bowsy. This profile picture fucks me up every time.
That's why I'm here.
I'll show people that's the profile picture right there. You can see it on the screen every time.
Yeah, that's what I do. I bring nightmares.
Yeah, it does. It's awful.
Nightmare fuel.
Every time people see me. So last time I was here, I mentioned the NFL draft, and you actually asked about the 49ers and what you think I would do, and I kind of blew you off, and I felt bad about that.
Yeah, how dare you?
How dare me, indeed. So I actually did look into what the Niners need, looked at a bunch of players, watched the video and all that. And what it looks like they need is someone who won't put on a MAGA hat and fuck with post-game interviews.
Come on. Great.
I mean, you're not wrong.
They need that so bad.
So bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a 90-degree turn or 180.
Yeah, thank you. I was waiting for that.
Yep. All right. So
All right.
that's all I wanted to say.
Thanks.
Have
brother.
a good weekend, guys.
Appreciate it.
Bye.
See ya. Is that it, Jen? Was that the last one? Oh no. Oh, more people came up. Oh no. This is gonna go bad.
Illusions.
Howdy.
Hey.
It's not going to go bad. What do you mean it's going to go bad?
That wasn't directed at you.
Bullshit. It better not be.
I directed it at you.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead.
Here you go.
I just make shit up. Go ahead.
Oh, I don't really have anything super crazy to say. Like, it was nice sharing some last moments of TikTok with you guys, because this shit's going downhill pretty fast. A lot of people are jumping ship, right?
It sounds like it. I don't know.
Yeah. People's accounts are getting hacked and shit too. So
I saw. Yeah. Adorna was saying that yesterday. That like hers got hacked and taken over. And it's like a hairdressing channel that's like all in Chinese. She's like, she can't get it back.
When you joined.
That's crazy.
That was funny. What else? Oh yeah. My mentor, I'm an aviator. I fly these crazy paramotor things, and my mentor has now started getting nervous about what Donald Trump has been doing, because everybody who I was close with is MAGA, and he's like, well, now I'm nervous, and and I told him, yeah, well, he's doing stupid shit, and he's like, well, there's going to be a lot of pain before it gets better.
Yeah.
But now do you have any advice for like how I'm supposed to go and hang out with my in-laws who are all MAGA people?
No, I don't. My advice would be don't. It's hard for me. It was my MAGA friends are fine. What I say is, if you know you can have a good conversation with somebody, do it, and if not, just avoid politics. Otherwise, you'll get nowhere. You're never going to convince them anyways. I would just say
I'll
avoid
just focus on the
conversations.
kids maybe and just not talk to them.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. I mean, that's good advice.
Thank
All
you.
right.
All right, brother.
Jen, I'm in love with you. No, I'm just kidding. Wouldn't that be awkward? Damn. Later.
See it. Yeah, Jen, wouldn't that be awkward? You want to respond to that, Jen?
We don't do those. We've been over this. I don't do that emotion. It doesn't exist.
Okay, who's next?
Free.
Great.
Hey, Jay and Jen. Wait, try not to sound so like not excited.
This is called fear.
Is it? I thought you got over that.
Nope.
No. You've been gone a while, so we may have to re-break him there a little.
Okay, I'm here to break things. In a good way though. I
Okay.
missed you, Jen, though. I will say that.
Yeah.
You too, Jay, I guess. Now say it back.
I love you.
Do you? Oh, that just fills my heart up.
There you go.
Now, why did I come up here?
There you go.
I just came up here. Well, dang, he said it like he didn't mean it. I know that's
Right?
a lie.
It didn't feel very serious to me either.
Fuck you, Jen.
Yeah, like I
Fuck
feel
you.
like you got to say it with more emotion.
No, no.
And try again.
I don't think I think we should normalize saying I love you so that you don't have to say it with so much emotion. I'm just so in touch with my feelings that it comes out so naturally. I don't even have to say it, you know. People just know.
So what you're saying is that meant nothing.
It meant everything and something, but not nothing.
I feel like you're lying to me right now.
I don't even know. This is so uncomfortable. I hate this so much.
Why are you uncomfortable? After all this time, you're still uncomfortable.
Yes.
Do I make you nervous?
Yes.
Good. I'm glad. Very glad.
It's been 10 minutes. There's no way they were still inside of 2 minutes here. It's been 10.
Hasn't been 10 minutes.
32 seconds. God damn it.
Why are you
I can do
counting
this.
down? I feel like I should have more time just because you want to count down and you're uncomfortable for no reason.
Yeah. You know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know what you're doing. This is bullshit.
No, what am I doing?
No.
You tell me.
No.
What am I doing?
13, 12.
I haven't even said anything.
10.
I haven't even said anything.
9.
I keep taking up my time.
6.
I would like to reclaim my time, please. Why are you so nervous? It's okay. Stay scared.
Love
Have
you.
fun. Oh, also, fuck text. Just have to get that out there. Also, one last thing too. Fuck RFK.
Yeah.
And his brain worm. He literally looks like he was the cause of the Black Plague. So that's all I got.
Sounds like it too. Thank you. Have a wonderful weekend.
You
No, I
too.
agree.
See ya.
Bye, y'all.
All right, I'll go on mute. This is Jen's time.
Oh, you're so. This is your jokes are not very good when you keep doing the same one. You can do better. I have faith
I
in
like
you.
it still.
You're so.
I like his jokes.
Thanks, bud.
This joke.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I volunteer one of my minutes to her so she can come back and make you more uncomfortable?
No, you absolutely cannot.
We could cut me at 1 minute and bring her back up.
Jen might cut you anyways. So no, there's no sharing time.
All right. Guess we just established a new rule.
Those boundaries suck.
Settles that. But no, man, just, it sounded like you wanted to go, so I felt obligated to come up and just, keep you here longer.
Yeah, perfect.
So
I love when you're here.
I know, right? You don't got to do much.
No. Jen just lays back and you do all the work. It's great.
You're so dumb.
Shit. After dark already. It's
So
early here.
dumb.
So, I'm petty as fuck, and I'm really loving this MAGA infighting on TikTok.
Yeah, Admir's starting some shit, isn't he? It's good.
Keep that shit up.
And he's
MAGA,
recruiting too. He's recruiting. I love it. Yeah.
There's supposed to be more tea coming out. I don't remember if it's today. I think it might be today. There's going to be some more receipts dropping.
If Admir's dropping receipts, I might show up. I might show up for that.
It's not Admir. It's not Admir.
Oh, are you talking?
I'll let you.
All right, yeah, message me.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been in. I was out of the loop, and then I heard something, and I started diving the other day, and it is just keeps getting better and better. I love this for all of them. Keep that shit up. Yeah, just that. Please keep doing that. And yesterday, I've been like listening to Admir's little like evolution or whatever you want to call it, but he was in a live like doing that thing again yesterday. Like I heard him like arguing about that guy that's in El Salvador and stuff, like arguing the MAGA side again yesterday. So he got to stop flip flopping, man. Make a choice.
What was he
Admir, if you're
arguing?
listening.
That's weird because I heard him saying it was
Last
fucked up.
night, at the end of the night,
He
he's
regressed.
calling it out. No, he progressed from what you saw or whatever.
Okay, all right. I thought he's having a little relapse, a little MAGA relapse.
It happens.
But yeah, that's all. Just keep that
being
shit up.
MAGA, it's probably what I would imagine like addiction. It's like it probably takes a while, and you have to keep reinforcing the positive behavior.
Of course, it's like it's not a race; it's a marathon. You know what I mean? You got to pace yourself, and it takes time. So, but yeah, I love this. Like, just this whole thing. It's fucking so good. This is what keeps me entertained is MAGA infighting. So, I can't wait for more.
I think you and Jen have that in common. I think maybe you guys will be able to see each other a lot this weekend. That'll be good.
That's amazing. One other thing we have in common, Jen. This is fucking perfect.
Right. Mm-hmm. All right, bye, Chris.
All right, guys. See ya.
What's up, Ash?
Just wanted to make sure I made it.
You're here.
For the end of the show. I'm here. Yeah. What's up, Jen?
Hey, how have you been? I haven't talked to you in so long.
It's been a while, actually. I had a busy weekend. Weekend, yeah. So I've been.
Do you have any fun plans for the weekend?
I'm gonna put a toner in my hair tonight, I think. That's probably about it. You're blonde, right? So you do that.
Yeah,
Jay,
I have a couple.
What's your what kind of shampoo and conditioner do you use, Jay?
I don't know. I don't know the brand of my shampoo and conditioner.
Cool.
You realize I don't know if you know this. I don't mind small talk as long as I don't have to be involved in it. I'm fine with this. You guys can small talk all day long.
Oh, okay. So what did you do this week besides?
What are your plans?
So what are your plans this weekend?
All right, everybody. That's it for us today. Appreciate you being here. We'll be back
Wait a second. Hold on. My timer hasn't even started.
No.
Weekday, Monday through Friday night.
What are your plans for the weekend, Jay? That's you have to at least give Ash her time. That's not fair.
I know, that's so messed up.
For one of her OG mods, you can't even.
Right. You started talking right over me. It's so rude.
That's rude.
So rude. Hey, I do have a joke though.
Ladies, you know what I'm talking about. Those conservative men are.
Anybody care? Anybody want to hear it?
Yes, I care. What's the
conservative podcast? It's like. And now to our sponsor.
Well, it's not really a joke. God, I'm so stoned right now. Okay. I went over to my friend's house. She supplies me with some stuff, but she was selling shoes, which was so weird. And she gave me a pair, and I'm not sure what they're laced with, but I can't stop tripping.
Jay's just like, he's acting like he's not hearing anything.
That's pretending. Pretty good. I like that one. That was pretty good, actually. I like that one. There's no fucking way this timer. I just saw the timer for the first time. There's no fucking way we're at a minute left. How did that happen?
Just because you don't pay attention doesn't mean it's not real.
I'll bring Chris back up.
Okay, and I'll kick him out.
Right.
Would you say you're more like a morning person or like a night owl?
I am a morning person.
Interesting. What's your routine like?
I don't have one. I wake up. And then my dog goes and pees, and then I feed my dogs, and then and I say only one dog pees. It's really weird in the morning.
Really?
The other dog never does. Yeah. And then I feed him, and then I come and I start working. And then I start work. Shit. Then I start working on the show.
And then he's got to release that stress before he's on.
I was gonna say I come into this room and then start working on the show, but yeah. Fuck.
Yeah, I mean. It is a good stress reliever.
Yeah, work is a good stress reliever.
Oh, yeah, that part.
Yeah.
Cool. So anyway, I guess I'll catch you next week.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Bye.
Fuck, that's getting clipped. That sucks.
I always count on
Yeah.
that stuff.
Yeah, clip.
We've got comments to read, and then there's a joke that from earlier. So,
All right.
Are
you gonna read them or you?
I'm gonna read the joke, then you can read the comments.
Okay.
An engineer dies and reports to the pearly gates. St. Peter checks his dossier and says, "Ah, you're an engineer. You're in the wrong place." So the engineer reports to the gates of hell and is let in. Pretty soon, the engineer becomes dissatisfied with the level of comfort in hell, so he begins designing or building improvements. After a short while, all of hell has air conditioning, flushing toilets, and escalators, and the engineer has become a pretty popular guy in hell. A couple of months later, God calls Satan on the phone and says, with a sneer, "So how's it going down in hell?" Satan replies, "Hey, things are pretty good, pretty great. We now have air conditioning, flushing toilets, and escalators. Why? There's no telling what my engineer will come up with next." God replies, "What? You've got an engineer? That's a mistake. He should have never gotten down there. Send him back immediately." Send him back immediately. Satan says, "No way. It's nice having an engineer on my staff. I'm keeping him." God screams back, "Send him back up here or I'll sue." Satan laughs uproariously and answers, "Yeah, right." And where do you think you're going to find a lawyer?
I checked out halfway through that, and I was trying to catch it at the end, and
I'll send it to you in text. I'll send it to you in a text.
Thank you. We got elevated during Friendly Friday, so that's on me.
Talking.
6 Cents Amelia says super callous, fascist, racist, sexist, Nazi POTUS. That's pretty good. Amy Lynn says bullshit. Jen is for sure never a bottom. Jen, would you care to comment on that?
I mean, I can do all kinds of different things, but that's just whatever.
All right. It made me more uncomfortable. I didn't. I thought I was making you uncomfortable, and you've turned that around on me. Thank you.
You act like things can embarrass me.
Whoops. Beth said, reminder for Trump supporters, our soldiers are willing to die for our country. The least you can do is research for it. I think I did read that one. Amy Lynn reminds me to stay away from the catfish. That is a very important reminder. Thank you, Amy Lynn. What if Amy Lynn is the catfish, posing as somebody else? I wouldn't.
No, Amy Lynn's too smart, and Amy Lynn would have, if it was the catfish, she would have crashed out on me a long time ago. You know how much the catfish hates me.
Gotcha. Good point. Jamar says, Jay fucking pillows. The sister wives better beware. Thank you. That was 2 times I stumbled in Friendly Friday. Marlene said the book that was written by the autistic author was Look Me in the Eye. For anybody who wants to be reminded of that book, I'm going to download that. Amy says, are those pillows from J.D. Vance's couch? No, I do not fuck racist pillows. And Kurt said, shout out to my son, Brother Bob, for turning me on to you all.
But you do fuck pillows.
Amy Lynn says, countries from... I think I read that. Okay, I think I got all of them. All right. Any last words, Jen?
Yeah, Q sent me a joke. He said, where do you send people after a peekaboo accident?"
Where do you send people after a peekaboo accident?
I
don't know.
I see you.
Stupid. Jamie says, helping you stay cute and cool. Thank you. Susan also thank you for the Cash App. Check here. Jen, you checked all that. You got the Venmo. We're all good on that?
I think yes.
Okay, mine's being slow too. All right, thanks, Jen. You gonna do some late night lives again? You guys got to follow Jen around. In the middle of the night, Jen's just out there doing lives and shit.
I was there earlier just because you were elevated and just didn't realize.
It was like 10:30. That's late for me.
So.
All right. Well, Jen, if we don't see you, have a good weekend. Everybody else, thank you so much. It was a short week this week, only 4 days, but we're doing all 5 next week because that's how we roll. Thank you guys so much for the support. Reminder, the replays are always available on YouTube. You can follow us here on YouTube, on Twitch, on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all those places. While you're there, like something, leave a comment. It helps a great deal, specifically on YouTube and on Twitch. Other than that, take care of yourselves. All of you that are going out to protest on Saturday, if you see some great signs, I would love to see them. I would love to hear about your experiences. So make sure you document it, post it on social media. I'll miss you all desperately. If I don't see any time this weekend, we'll see you on Monday, 9:30 a.m. to 1 Pacific Standard Time. Take care of yourselves, stay cute and cool, and have a great summer.